The track is a diabolical mix of dramatic climbs and steep downhills. 18 turns that run over 1.25 miles of southern Maryland terra firma. This is a battle that pits man and machine against each other for 30+ minutes to see who is the quickest, the fittest, and the toughest motocross rider in the world. After 40 years of motocross racing in America, the tradition continues. Round 4 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship starts right now, live on Fuel TV.
American motocross visits our nation's capital on Father's Day weekend for round 4 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the Budds Creek National in Mechanicsville, Maryland. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Fuel TV's live coverage of AMA Pro Motocross. Jason Weigan, of course, joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig, just about to get racing in our 450 class. We'll give you some of the big picture storylines we're following today. First, Ryan Villopoto back on the map, gets his first win of the year last week in Pennsylvania, and that included a dominating performance in the first moto. Ryan Villopoto also very tough to stop on this racetrack, so he's a favorite today. And speaking of back, Josh Grant, who has only raced one race all year in Supercross, is finally back from knee surgery. He'll make his motocross debut today on the Honda. And Ryan Dungey, our defending series champion, looking for his first win of the year. He could get it today. He was the fastest rider in time qualifying. So those are just some of the storylines that we are following for this Budds Creek National, but there are many more stories and many more contenders. And to talk about that, we turn it over to you, Jeff Emig. What's in store today from Budds Creek?
Well, Budds Creek, of course, is the site of a legendary racetrack, and there's been some big battles go on here. And I got to tell you, I walked around the track earlier today during qualifying, and there's some big jumps here, okay? And they've extended some of these tabletops out, uphill triples. This is a track that is well suited for the 450 four-stroke machines. And then you talk about the competitors. The 3 riders that we have at the top of the points battle, I believe, are going to be Hall of Fame riders all the way through. And now we've got these guys. And I think this weekend is going to be where we're going to see all 3 of those guys match up evenly and have one of those epic battles. I can't wait to get this thing started.
It's definitely going to be fun to watch. Got a lot of people here to do that, including the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates on the starting line.
3 rounds in the books already, and Chad Reed has won 4 out of those 6 motos. Chad coming in 15-point lead, but a bigger event for you this week. You actually got ordered as a member in Australia. You're basically a knight. How surreal is this feeling for you?
No, it's amazing, and it's honored to get any award like that, but to do it, you know, so young. I'm the 2nd youngest ever to get it, and actively still racing, if that's what you call it. So I'm just kind of surprised. You know, it's hard to put it into words, but more than anything, just excited for the sport to see, you know, motocross be put at that level more than my name. You know, I think it's cool for me, but better for the sport. It's
incredible. Not only are you writing a book, but maintain your focus out there. And a guy who's returning for the first time, Josh Grant. We haven't seen you race since January. How are you feeling lining up behind the gate?
I mean, it feels good. You know, it's been a while since I've been able to line up with everyone, and yeah, just out here working the bugs out. You know, I really want to focus on, you know, Colorado in the next few races, but this weekend was kind of to work out the bugs, get on the bike, you know, start racing with everyone, and it's going good.
All right, big crowd lined up. Josh Grant, yeah, he hasn't raced in a long time, but he's the kind of guy that in his very first race back at it, he can contend up front. So it's going to be one to watch, the 33 Honda, as well as everyone else on this track. Stay with us. Big talk, big sports, big tunes. The Daily Habit, the wildest late-night party on television. Weeknights at 11 Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. All right, big crowd here at Budds Creek, about a half hour south of Washington, D.C. for motocross racing. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Here's how the racing works. First, we're going to watch our 450 class, which will run 2 motos today, 40 riders in each race, and we will combine the scores from both of those races, which all take 30 minutes and 2 laps to determine an overall winner for the weekend. Let's take a look at the track that has been built here in Maryland. Jeff Emig, you've had some success here. What's it all about?
Well, the start is going to be interesting down here and make a hard left, sweep around through some rollers, kind of go downhill. This is a pretty steep uphill, off camber through here, triple downhill into some huge braking bumps. The Bubba Scrub jump, I'm not sure what the locals have named it. That thing's been extended out. You go down the long downhill and head up. Uphill triple, of course, legendary obstacle. Henry Hill jumps all the way to the corner, suffers an injury, would come back to win here at this track again. Just what can I say about this track other than it's got fantastic soil. There's great obstacles, well suited for a 450, and I think we are primed to have an epic battle here today.
Oh, man, we sure hope so. Now, Ryan Villopoto, we mentioned at the top of the show, won his first motocross race of the year last week. But coming into this series, he'd already wrapped up the AMA and FIM World Championship in Supercross. So an impressive year already, and now he's trying to do the double by winning it in motocross. Let's talk to Ryan Villopoto.
All I can remember just growing up was my dad always saying that you can do that for a living, you can make money at that. And you won't have to have a normal job. Here I am now, doing it as a now you'd call it a normal job. For me, it's a job. But it's fun and it's a short-term job, I should say. I mean, other than Kevin and Timmy, it's kind of like a 10-year span. So we get our work out of the way pretty quick, but it's also takes a toll on the body, like a guy that's been working for 40 years. I'm looking forward to it. To get this going and win some outdoor racing and in the end be there fighting for this championship. I mean, what a year would it be to win the Supercross championship, win outdoors, and then get married. So looking forward to it and see if we can pull it off.
Well, there's Ryan Villopoto, and yes, he has the indoor title, but a lot of people think he's even faster outdoors, and he showed it last week.
Trying to do the double. He didn't start the series off where he would like to be, but certainly is primed for another win after that great ride at High Point.
Now let's pick another rider out of this grid here that might have a breakthrough ride today. We're going to go with the 539 of Ricky Dietrich. He's had some pretty good runs so far in 2011.
He certainly has, and at the race in Texas, when it was really nasty and rough, that's where we saw his fitness come through, and I believe that's what he's going to have to rely upon today. Last week he had a little bit of problem with his speed. Hopefully work together with Rockstar Yamaha, Valley Motorsports, got that figured out, and of course, he's an off-road rider, so just keep it out of the trees and all that stuff and keep it on the track. He should be good.
Now, you see these riders have selected their gates left to right. Most riders saying that this track, the gate selection more important than most other tracks. Explain this, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're anywhere outside of here, you're going to have some problems. And it's pretty short start, but I was surprised to see that some of the top guys lined up over in here as opposed to normally they would be way here on the inside, pretty much. First in points, first quick, fastest qualifying would line up way to the left and then work their way out, but they've actually chose to move out a little bit here.
All right, well, we'll see how that pays off for them. Yeah, a lot of times the starts at Buds come from the inside. Dungey, who's the fastest qualifier, chooses not to go to the inside, more to the middle.
Yeah, and if you're 330 and these guys on the outside here, it's really the key is going to be to just let everybody go and then get all the way to the inside.
Don't even try it around the outside.
Don't even try to make it.
This is a new start. I think this is, what, the third different starting area they've had at this track. We'll see how it turns out. Moto 1 underway. Chad Reed leads him into the first turn on the red 22 and leads him out. So Reed able to control it as they hit this big step up.
Mike Alessi in there. Reigning champion Ryan Dungey, Villopoto's in there.
Alessi going for the lead and grabs it immediately from Reed. And Villopoto, trying to follow him through, and Reed and Alessi almost tangled. That's the kind of action we expect early in AMA Pro Motocross.
There's some sections of the track, Jason, that they have fixed and smoothed out and worked all the muddy spots out. You can see other sections they left rough, let the deep ruts stay in there. Okay, so this track in spots is going to be pretty smooth. Other spots is going to get rough, but you can see that it's a little bit of dust coming up in spots, where earlier today this track was deep and muddy, and it was really a labor for the motorcycles to pull their way around. But I'm telling you, the track is fast right now.
The pack is fast. All the contenders up front. We've talked quite a bit about Reed on the 22, Villopoto on the 2, and Dungey on the number 1. But we also know Mike Alessi, who's in the lead. He's not up there in points because he missed the first 2 rounds with an injury, but he can start with him, and he can run with these guys.
I believe that Mike Alessi has the potential to run away from these guys, okay? And this is coming off of that horrendous crash at the opening round, but he really impressed me last week. And so Mike has got to start here, and a clear track. He's going to stay away from a lot of this roost. See the mud flying up off the back of the red Honda. Chad Reed, number 22, up into the 2 of Ryan Villopoto there on the green Monster Energy Kawasaki.
And Dungey right behind them. And explain to folks, this is a 30-minute race and 2 laps. So are they feeling each other out right now? I mean, there's a lot of racing yet to come.
Being that it is the first moto, it's the first lap of 35, 36-minute lap time. They're looking for where the track has changed, where they've worked on it, where they've smoothed it out, trying to figure out where the wet spots are from where we laid down a little bit of water to keep the dust down. And they're trying to sort themselves out. But the key thing, too, is not to make any big mistakes along the way.
Reed going after Alessi. Last couple of corners, the 22 found some of those good lines. And then he found a bad one there.
Reed trying to hold the inside line through here. Tries the manual one jump. Ducks his head. Just gets blasted with some of this Maryland soil. And in that top section, it's a little bit rocky. Some of the lower sections where the top soil would have washed down of all the years of rain and mud here, like down here, the soil is so good. But then coming up the hill, the sandy and the soft stuff has washed off, and there's some small rocks in there, like, you know, golf ball size rocks, marbles. And Alessi has the opportunity to just blast these guys behind him and, you know, use it to your advantage. Use everything you got. Look at this downhill triple weed. This is huge.
And Reed showing a wheel again to Alessi, just trying to let him know he's back there. Maybe put a little pressure on. And 5th place right now behind Dungey. You'll see Dungey in the yellow bike come through next. 5th is Tommy Hahn at the end of lap 1 on the Moto Concepts Yamaha. That's Weimer, Brown, Short, Spangler, Josh Grant, top 10. Jeff?
Notice that uphill triple and takes your momentum to the outside. And as Reed's getting pressured by Villopoto here, now he falls back in the line. Reed hasn't got a whole shot all year, but he's won 4 of 6 motos. He's been consistently good off the starts, okay? You know, ironically, he gave up the whole shot here to Alessi on that first lap, but Reed has been consistently up front and put himself in a good position. Really hasn't had to battle from the back. And you've seen that first lap, he really put some pressure on Alessi, couldn't make it stick. You notice he backed off a little bit.
Also backing off a little bit, you're seeing Reed, Villopoto, and Alessi, your top 3 battling with each other, but a little bit of a gap built up between those 3 and the 4th place man, Dungey on the Rockstar Makita Suzuki.
Dungey in a nice position. I do feel that this is a weekend that he needs to have a breakout ride. I'm sure, you know, with him, the team, everybody's going, okay, stay consistent, be strong, all of these things that you try to tell yourself all along. But I think Dungey needs to make a statement today. And in qualifying,
they're all coming up short on that step up.
Yeah, and that's because they worked that lip of that double. Earlier today, it was really cupped out some deep lines.
Whoa, Villopoto has gotten by Reed and is now going after Alessi, so he waited 1 lap. And then in lap 2, he began to strike. Here we are in lap 3, and he wants to take the lead.
Talk about making a statement.
Wow.
Ryan Villopoto is going after it here, pressuring, and once again, we've watched these 2 riders grow up together, go through the ranks all the way from being on the little bikes. Now here they are at the pinnacle of the sport, 2 of the finest riders on the earth.
And there goes Villopoto, going to dance down to the inside and take the spot from Alessi. And Alessi shakes his head, although I'm not sure if that was frustration or just trying to duck the roost coming off the rear tire of Villopoto. So Villopoto from 3rd to 1st in about a half a lap. And now Dungey closing on Reed to the number 3 spot. Reed in the 22, Dungey on the 1. So Reed has come unraveled about the same time that Villopoto has begun to surge.
Well, Mike Alessi laid down a 2:04 last lap, but Villopoto gets into a 2:03 for the first time today.
Wow.
Where only Dungey had been. Reed turns a 2:06, so he drops 2 seconds from Alessi, 3 seconds on Villopoto. It's obvious that that lap just did not go as planned, but Reed is more than comfortable. He's more than fit. We'll see how he manages this race and just what sort of intensity level Dungey, Alessi, and Villopoto can try to put on the current points leader. And you notice the red plate on his bike where everyone else uses a white background with a black number. Reed as the points leader, red background, white numbers.
Aaron Bates, what are you hearing about the number 1, Ryan Dungey?
You guys were talking about intensity out there racing, but something that Ryan Dungey had mentioned to me this afternoon was that he said he is really trying to focus on not wearing himself out, having 4 races in a row. Says that he needs to get a little bit of rest and relaxation in between motos to be able to come out here swinging just the way he is at this moment.
Yeah, well, he is measuring the approach right now. He's going after Reed, but hasn't gotten too aggressive yet, Jeff.
Yeah, look on the right side of Dungey's helmet there. You see those tear-offs flapping. Riders use what's called a laminated tear-off system, where there's a pack of like 7 tear-offs that are stuck together. Sometimes, like in this situation, he might have put 4 or 5 packs on. Okay, so upwards of 20 or more tear-offs. And if you grab that tear-off and if it sticks, you don't get the proper technique of pulling it across, you pull that pack of 7, let's say, off. And see that flapping on the right side of Dungey's helmet. And it's a lot like putting a card in your spokes on your bicycle. It's got that little flutter.
But he doesn't need that. He's got a motorcycle engine to make the noise. Alessi on the orange bike stuffs Reed to hold on to second, and that allows Dungey to pull up on Reed in a battle for third. There goes Dungey on the yellow on the outside, and it's going to become the inside in the next corner. He might have the spot. Side by side. Uphill triple. Dungey takes it. Reed going to try to get him back. Great racing at Budds Creek.
Okay, see Dungey right there. He pulled all of his tear-offs off. He's having to use his gloves and his fingers to clear his lens. And on a day like today, he's going to have to be really careful about how he takes roost to his lens, or he's going to be battling that all day long, and that could definitely hinder his riding.
How about Reed, who was in second a lap and a half ago, going after Alessi for the lead, and now finds himself in 4th. And Dungey here on the 1 after the pass is putting a little distance on himself and Reed, who leads this series. So Reed needs to regroup.
Yeah, he's scratching his head right now going, wait a second, what's going on? This moto, the intensity has started out pretty high. You know, Reed obviously with 4 wins out of 6 opportunities feels that he's the man, but right now things are happening really quick for him. And our leader, Villopoto, last lap around was about 4 seconds out on Alessi. You can't even see him in the screen at this point.
So Dungey knows it's go time if he wants to try to catch Villopoto, your leader. He's got to get around the 800 of Alessi, who is in second, and they both try to go to the inside over those jumps. So Dungey's not able to make the pass.
Look at Dungey right there just scrubbing down. Now this is the same move that Villopoto tried to put on.
Alessi did a good job of protecting the inside, and Dungey just switched on him and takes the spot anyway. Dungey on the number 1 up to second.
You believe that? Oh, you're going to block the inside? Take that. I'm going around the outside. I love it.
Should not be able to be done.
And Jason, this is the type of effort and intensity that I feel that Dungey needed to bring to this race. Let's see if he can put on the charge and catch our leader and really make a statement here in this first moto.
Well, here's the problem. 7.5 seconds of a lead already built up by Villopoto. Those 2 laps that he had to run away while Reed, Dungey, Alessi were battling each other. Villopoto did a lot of damage. Now Reed begins to zero in on the 800 of Alessi in a race for third. But they got to try to keep pace with the 1 and the 2 who are in front of them right now. Just getting started here at Budds Creek on Fuel TV Live. Stay with us. Ryan Villopoto here, the number 2. Monster Energy Kawasaki leads the way early at the Budds Creek National in Mechanicsville, Maryland. It's Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross. And Villopoto did this exact same thing 1 week ago when we were about 3 hours west of here in Pennsylvania. Pulled away early in the first race of the day.
Well, and you take a look at the lap times, and it's no wonder he just turned a 2:02.4, the fastest lap of the day, and now he's 9 seconds out on Ryan Dungey with 17 minutes plus 2 laps left to go in this. And all of a sudden, Villopoto's got that confidence. This is that riding style, that technique, that effort that we see on the bike and the intensity that led him to 3 250 motocross championships. You know, he might have started off this championship a little sick, a little stressed out from the Supercross title, things like that, but he certainly has found his form right now.
Dungey tripling all the way over that step up now. He's figured that section out, but he's going to figure out a lot more if he wants to close the gap on Villopoto. We'll give you the idea of the gap now that Dungey has completed another lap. It's 10.25 seconds now.
Last lap around, we just crossed the finish line. Villopoto a 2:02 flat this time, so 0.4 of a second faster than the previous lap, and Dungey a 2:03.3. So he is dropped his lap time definitely raised the intensity. He's found his groove right now, and they are wheeling away from Alessi and Reed.
But Alessi's still holding Reed off. There's Alessi on the 800, the Red Bull KTM, with Reed on the TwoTwo Motorsports Bell Ray machine behind him. And this is what we're talking about. Could Mike Alessi or someone become a spoiler and get in between these top three in the series? And so far, so good. It's the 800. If it ended like this, he would cost Reed a few championship points.
Yeah, the 22 just looks like he's kind of bouncing around. He doesn't quite have his lines down.
How about this? Tommy Hahn, the Moto Concepts Yamaha, not that far back of Alessi and Reed. He can get a look at them on some of the longer sections of this track. So Hahn, who is bouncing back, had a couple of rough years with injuries, ended the year in 2009 with his first career pro win. But last year just couldn't seem to get the momentum going his way, and it's been like that so far in 2011. But speed's really not an issue with this guy. Once he gets going, he can run with people.
Hey, Tommy Hahn is rocking right now. He's 9th in points. The first Yamaha on the track right now. And remember a couple weeks ago with his previous teammate Christophe Pourcel,
yeah,
he had problems dialing the bike. Well, Tommy Hahn has no problems with that Yamaha, and he's putting in a great ride here in the first moto.
Let's check out Kevin Windham there in the 14, the veteran. This is going to be it. End of the road for him. He's the replacement rider on factory Honda, but Josh Grant is back from injury. And K-Dub said, I'm going to probably call it a summer. He hasn't ruled out the idea of maybe coming back a little bit later in the series, but he's going on vacation for a little bit. Reed is closed back in on Alessi, Jeff.
Trying to put the move on right now. Let's see if Reed has found some new lines, if he can carry his momentum all the way over the top here. See, Alessi comes a little short. Nah, Reed does too. Everybody's trying to fight for the inside, trying to get those tires to stick.
And he makes the pass. They were fighting for the inside. I guess Reed fought a little bit harder for it.
Yeah, he just swooped through the inside there, drew a better line. Reed needs to drop that lap time. He was a 2:07 last lap, or this last lap. Villopoto a 2:02.5, wow. And Dungey now a 2:02.9, so he is down into the 2:02. So you see Reed is about 5 seconds a lap right now that he needs to pick up. That's why he's 21 seconds behind the leader. So
now, earlier in his career, Chad Reed was known as a Supercross specialist, better on the indoor stadiums than he is here on the big tracks outdoors. And he said the reason was, when the bike is good and the track is good and he's comfortable, he can go fast. But he said he's not one of those guys when he's not comfortable that is willing to just go fast anyway, darn the consequences. And he doesn't look comfortable today.
I would agree. The rider that does look comfortable right here is Tommy Hahn. And last lap around, he was a 2:06. Alessi was a 2:08. So Hahn a couple seconds a lap faster than Alessi. He could possibly put Moto Concepts Yamaha in the top 4 in this moto with the type of ride he's putting on now.
Compare Hahn's bike here, the number 12. They get some support from Yamaha, but compare his machinery to the bikes in front of him. Reed gets a bike from factory Honda, the factory-supported KTM of Alessi. Where is Hahn's bike? Is he at a disadvantage at all, or does that team have it sorted out?
Well, it all has to do with the results, right? And, you know, the teams are, it's possible to make a production bike in 2011, in the era that we're in now. All of the manufacturers, the 5 manufacturers here that are represented today that make the 450 machines, these things are pretty good. Okay, you go to the showroom floor, buy it. It all has to do with the setup. So that comes down to the technicians on the team, how you can relay the information about what you want back to your mechanic and work with the technicians that do the chassis setups and the suspension engine setup. So the team's working hard.
Obviously. We saw Windham go by. And then first look today at Davi Millsaps, who came by in 7th. Brett Metcalfe in 8th. And there is Josh Grant back in action after ACL surgery. Crashed into Mike Alessi's brother, Jeff, at a Supercross race in Phoenix, I believe, a couple of months ago. And
I think that was the other way around.
Well, yeah, I guess that's to be accurate. Jeff kind of aggressively ran into Josh Grant. That's the way I'm going to put it. Alessi has been caught now by Hahn, so we're going to focus back into this battle for 4th. Hahn on the blue bike, Alessi on the orange and white. Hahn is on the move. And we were talking about Alessi being the potential spoiler, but Hahn might get the better of him here.
And, I mean, this is a legit ride here. Hahn sitting in 5th, but he's only 3 seconds behind Reed, our current points leader.
And Reed in a podium position. Top 3 will get to go to the stage at the end of the race. And Hahn is not out of contention for that. Alessi able to shake him just a bit through that section, but Hahn closing back in now.
And what's interesting, I mean, all of the core motocross fans know that Yamaha has this 450 that is a dramatically different, design than any other bike out there, with how the engine is positioned and the chassis and all that. And this is the second year with this bike. And what really happens, I think, in the Supercross Championship, you mask some of the handling stuff. When you with the motocross, this is where you really got to make this thing work. And this team is doing a great job.
Oh, they were. Tommy throws it away. A fairly routine crash. No injuries or problems from the landing, but he will lose time. And now a little wind in the sails of Wyndham, who can now see Tommy Hahn in front of him. And Hahn's slowing up. Maybe I spoke too soon, saying no problems with the bike. What happened? Unbelievable.
Well, let's watch as he comes down here, hits some bumps, and tries to get into the inside. And let's watch his gut area, stomach. It didn't really look like he took a really hard hit, but once he got up and pulled off the track, he was crouching over, grabbing his stomach area. What a disappointment here.
Unbelievable.
Moto Concepts Yamaha, Tommy Hahn had one of the best rides of his career going.
Shows what I know. The point I was trying to make is that was a fairly easy crash. Shouldn't be any damage to him or the machine, and it was enough to knock him out of the race. Just a strange situation. Hahn's just going to coast around to the Makita Mechanics area, and that should be it for him. We'll check out Tommy Hahn and the rest of the field when we come back. Washington Monument, like we said, about a half hour north. Next year, come to the race, make a little educational trip out of it in our nation's capital. See you then.
3 hours late.
I was at your father's funeral.
Maybe that excuse would have flown when my dad was here, but I'm in charge now.
I work for the...
Watch the best Kung Fu cult classic films every Saturday only on Fuel TV. Late night, 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Go to Fuel TV, that's at fuel.tv, for the movie titles. Like the late night Kung Fu.
I'll tell you who's throwing the karate chops down here is Villopoto. He is absolutely dominating this moto. 2:03 lap time. Dungey's at a 2:02.8, so Dungey just a click quicker, but he's 9 seconds behind Villopoto at this point. Look how he's carrying his momentum all the way over, almost over jumping that step up, triple down. You know, they put a lot of obstacles on this track here today, and it's got to be tough to remember this whole track because there's just so much going on, right?
Villopoto, whatever they're throwing at him, he's not stopping the guy. He looks even faster now than he did when he was sprinting away from the field early in the moto.
Well, yeah, it's obviously that Villopoto's fitness is there, his intensity's back up, and just like I suspected after winning the first moto at High Point, it is just such a confidence booster, and you can see the attitude that he has in his riding, and this is the Villopoto that we've known in the past. 3-time 250 motocross champion, and we've got
pilot there. That's Freeze on the 450 and Kyle Keelan on the 130, and they've not only come together, they have done some damage to the motorcycles. Freeze, who now rides for Rock River after running for the Moto Concepts team earlier in the year, and man, these guys have had better days.
Well, Freeze always has had a reputation of trading paint with other riders, and that's in that off-camber. Who knows?
Hey, we talked about Ricky Dietrich on the 539, the blue bike here at the top of our show as our Fuel TV's one to watch. He is battling it out with Michael Byrne, and that is for 13th and 14th. Probably not where either one of these guys want to be. They want to be at least in the top 10 and battling for top 5s. Let's focus in on both of these. It's a good battle.
Well, Byrne qualified 14th, Ricky Dietrich 17th, and so at this point, running just a click better than what they've qualified.
Yeah, it looks like he's got Byrne on the inside. Can Byrne get him back? Byrne on the yellow. And Dietrich's going to slam the door. So that's another spot for Dietrich. But again, that's only 13th place. They want to be further up than that.
Yeah, and that BTO Sports Suzuki team were looking for an improvement out of Michael Byrne this week. They spent a lot of time up in the Northeast with their suspension technicians, factory connection, to get the bike dialed in. But so far, just outside of the top 10.
Now, before we went to break, we saw the number 12, Tommy Hahn, running for a top 5, had this crash, and we thought he just lost some time, but apparently it hurt a little more than that. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates, who now has Tommy Hahn, who's out of this race. Aaron?
Tommy Hahn was having one of the rides of his life out there until suddenly, Tommy, you went down. It wasn't one of the roughest crashes that we've seen you do. What exactly happened?
My front end knife coming into the corner. I got a handlebar to the side, and I think I cracked some ribs. It knocked the wind out of me for quite a while. It's hot, it's humid, it's real hard to recover from something like that gnarly of a hit. So I'm going to go back and see if I can make the second moto. If not, I'll see you guys next week.
I will never again assume that a crash looked rather routine and the guy's not going to be hurt.
It didn't. Whoa, as Villopoto almost gets put off the track there, the lap rider was looking for where he's at. But getting back to Tommy, I mean, we saw that fall 2 or 3 times, and it looked okay. Relatively easy, just fell over. But
whoa, and Villopoto
he
has
stalls
problems
it.
in the same general type of situation on the inside. All right, he got the bike started. We were wondering if he had suddenly lost the lead here, but he did get the bike fired up.
And he's about 10 seconds out on Dungey. He lost about half of that by stalling the bike, but what was interesting, I kept watching, was to see...
What is right there?
So
Dungey is right
seconds.
there. Well, yeah, he lost almost the entire lead. It was 10.3 seconds at the beginning of this lap. So I'd say, what, that was 8 seconds he lost right in that section.
Could this be the good fortune that Dungey needs to get not the win here, but getting back to that when Villopoto was standing there and you have to put your left foot down. In that situation, the low part of the track was the left side. So he was really fortunate that he had a berm or part of that rut that he could stand on, because if not, it might have been even tougher to get that bike fired back up.
Well, it is on now. We've got a battle for the lead. Look at the countdown clock at the top of the screen. 3 minutes, and then we'll bring out the 2 lap boards. So we're looking at 3 or 4 laps left in this moto. Mike Williamson, the mechanic for Villopoto, says 4. Well, it's close.
And let's not forget, it was just a couple laps ago that Dungey actually turned a faster lap time than Ryan Villopoto. So is this that dangling carrot in front of Ryan Dungey? It certainly motivates you when you know the guy's right there. He made a mistake. Now's the time to put the pressure on, try to force him into another mistake, especially as they move into the lap riders. And like we saw when Villopoto was getting around the lap rider just before he fell, lap rider looked to his left, Villopoto was on his right.
Dungey continues to close. He's closer than he was when he first got to Villopoto. So Dungey's feeling it right now. I'm going to ask you, if you're Villopoto, you have a big lead, you're cruising like that, you make a little mistake, and suddenly you're under pressure. How hard is that to recover from, Jeff?
Well, these guys are the best in the world. They know how to deal with those situations. That's why both of these riders are multi-time champions.
Here we go. Dungey is there. You can hear the crowd responding to this battle.
Yeah, but this has given Dungey that incentive to say, okay, I'm second. I'm just going to settle for second, get my 22 points. No, now it's time for the Suzuki rider to strike and get after it and try to put some pressure on Villopoto.
Oh, man, the lap traffic is definitely making it tough. Although Dungey can't complain too much. The lap riders helped him get close to Villopoto in the first place, but they cost him a lot of ground right there.
He lost some time.
Give us a replay here. Here we go, Jeff. Here's Villopoto.
He just gets in there and stalls the bike. Now, it's interesting because your right foot is where the rear brake is. And going into those right-hand off cameras, you keep your foot on the brake for a little while. Then at the midpoint, you go ahead and put your foot off to the inside. But just stall the engine a little bit coming down there.
Dungey lost some ground with the lap traffic, so now he's got to try to close back in on Villopoto. He was able to do it 1 lap ago.
This is when you got to dig deep, Jason. This is when you got to get the fight going. You have to be determined, and you have to get after it. Now, Villopoto, of course, is one of the best that there's ever been, especially at Budds Creek.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know the exact stats here.
Well, he's won every moto he's ever raced in here. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yes.
I would say that's better than average.
Yeah. Villopoto has never lost a moto that he's raced in here at Budds Creek. Can he win another? Dungey's not going to make it easy on him. Stay tuned to Fuel TV. Battle is on. 2 laps to go. The number 2 on the green. Ryan Villopoto has led the majority of this race, but he made a mistake, stalled the motorcycle, and that has allowed Ryan Dungey in yellow on the number 1 to close up. So your first and second place riders with 2 laps to go. Anything goes now.
Through this section, just up that hill, Dungey's drawn some great lines. That is his spot. The latter part of the lap, Villopoto seems to stretch it out. So Dungey needs to find his lines. He needs to copy him and duplicate it and stay with him here with about 1.5 laps and try to put a charge on and make the pass for the lead. But after the mistake that Villopoto had, he made another critical mistake in a similar part of the track which we're coming to right now. Let's take a look. This is just a couple of laps ago. This is the exact same section where they're at. Watch how he gets his weight to the left side, the outside here. Bike goes back to the left, carves up the side of the hill.
Wow. Is that what they call cross-rutting there?
That's
one
a bit
wheel
of a cross-rutting.
Yeah. One wheel in the rut, one wheel out. The bike starts going where it wants. Amazing that these guys are able to recover and not lose time when they make big mistakes like that. Look at Villopoto. He's actually, again, in this section of the track, extending it back out.
And I got to think that part of that is that uphill triple jump there where it's really wet and soft and a lot of roost comes off the back of the bike. Villopoto just nails that turn and then just blasts Dungey with roost. You see Les Smith right here, left rider.
Hey, you bring up a good point, but Dungey, remember at the beginning of the moto, Jeff, pulled all the sheets, all the tear-offs off the lens of his goggles. So remember when he was battling Reed about a half hour ago, he had to wipe his goggles with his arm.
Yeah, so as he gets close to Villopoto, especially in that section, that long uphill with the triple, it's really wet and muddy there. Section through here, it's dry and dusty, a little bit of rocks. It's not really going to stick to your lens.
1 lap to go. If Dungey has clear vision, he can see two things. A, the white flag, and B, the number 2 of Villopoto. Well, he'll also see the 27 of Nick Way, who's about to go a lap down. So Villopoto's got to get around him quickly. He does. Can Dungey do the same? This had been Dungey's section, but this time he was not able to get back to the rear fender of Villopoto. There's Dungey on the yellow. Rockstar Makita Suzuki. He was closer a lap ago.
Here's Michael Byrne, BTO Suzuki, who's actually running 14th, and he's about to go a lap down here. Moves to the left.
Villopoto putting on a charge. That was, I don't know, was that brilliant or was that scary what he did in that corner, Jeff?
That's riding a fine line there. He just about laid it over, but you can see he's got a little breathing room. Dungey trying to inside line as they come up over that left-hander. And I tell you, that shot right there, going through that off camber, does not do it justice because, I mean, you can barely walk up that.
Villopoto back downhill. Now going to go all the way to the outside.
He's working for it right now, Jason. He really is working the bike, and this takes so much physical conditioning, not just the cardiovascular, but physical strength to hold these 450cc four-stroke machines under them and ride with this type of intensity. Well, look at that. We're well over 30 minutes at this point.
Yeah, and they are sprinting past the 30-minute mark. Still got plenty of energy left, and they're going to need more because, remember, we run 2 motos every afternoon in AMA Pro Motocross. So after this race is done, they'll get about an hour break, and they'll do it again. And we combine the scores of both races. If Villopoto wins this one and Dungey wins Moto 2, the tiebreaker goes to the better finish in the second race. So Dungey's got to be aware of that as well, because I don't think he's going to get Villopoto. Only 1 corner left. Villopoto had gone 8-0. He had won all 8 times he had raced here at Budds Creek. He's about to push it to 9. Ryan Villopoto wins Moto 1 at Budds Creek. A little more nerve-wracking than they wanted it to be in the Kawasaki pits, but they've got the W. That's what counts. 1.6 seconds, the final gap between Villopoto and Dungey. Another win for RV2. We'll talk to him when we return.
Everything.
Time to get the celebration started at round 4 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. We're at Budds Creek Motocross Park in Mechanicsville, Maryland. We've just completed our first 450 moto live on Fuel TV. And we'll show you exactly how that race broke down with our race recap. Here is the number 2, Ryan Villopoto, taking the lead from Mike Alessi. Jeff?
He goes after it. Villopoto gets by Reed, then Alessi, and really takes off and checks out from the group.
We thought Villopoto would go unchallenged, but Ryan Dungey began to surge. The number 1, here he is on the outside. He's going to make a move on Chad Reed on the red bike. Reed's your series points leader. Dungey wants none of that. He's going to go by him.
Dungey gets past Mike Alessi also. Right through here around the outside as Alessi slams the door.
Yeah, Alessi did everything he could to protect that line. But Villopoto had a big lead at this point. We thought Villopoto had it, but watch this.
Villopoto stalls the engine very patiently, kicks the bike, gets it back going, but he had a 10-second lead that went away, and Dungey caught up.
But Dungey not able to make the pass. It was close, only 1.6 seconds at the finish. Villopoto hangs on to take a dramatic win, and we'll give you the rest of the results right here with our top 10. How about Kevin Windham taking the 4th place spot away from Mike Alessi? That'll push Alessi to 5th. Metcalfe, Millsaps, Grant, Short, Weimer in the top 10. Nice comeback ride for Josh Grant, Jeff.
Pretty solid for being his first race back, and he's been off with an injury to the knee. Top 10 in his first round, that tells you that his preparation was on point here.
11 through 20, Ricky Dietrich, 11th. That was our one to watch in this moto. A lot of big names. They're not able to crack the top 10. That gives you an idea of just how tight the competition is. Just outside the top 20, these riders not going to score championship points in this one. Fredrik Noren is a Swedish rider. He's in the 21st, and there's the rest of the field, including Tommy Hahn, who is battling for 5th, but crashed out of that one and will be credited with 37th. So that's your top 40 of the first race of the day at Budds Creek. Villopoto, Dungey, Reed are your top 3, and they're all standing down there. And we ready to send it down?
Ryan Villopoto, thank you guys. A lot of success for Ryan Villopoto in the 250 class, but this marks your first 450 outing. Ryan, you stalled your bike. Is there a moment that you thought that might be passing you by?
Yeah, you know, just got out to a good start, broke a good lead. I was riding good, just got into the lappers a little bit, and just made a little mistake, and on that gnarly off camber just stalled my bike. But could have done it without the whole Monster Energy Kawasaki. Dunlop, great tires, getting me off to a good start. Parts Unlimited, Thor, Alvin Stars, Oakley, Vans, Maxima, Renthal, Falcon Tires, Volcom, Specialized, just everybody. Thank you guys.
First 2 rounds started a little slow, but the momentum is now in Ryan Villopoto's court.
All right, we'll be back to talk to Dungey and Reed and see how the race broke down for them. They've got to figure out a way to beat this guy. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Budds Creek. I'm here with Ryan Dungey, who took 2nd place. Ryan, you lost your tear-offs on lap 3. How much did that affect your vision, especially closing in on Ryan Villopoto with the lappers in the way?
Yeah, it's a shame. You never like to run out of tear-offs, but, it's tough to prepare for something like that. It clogs the vision when it gets thicker, but Oakley does a great job of supplying that. But, I lost a lot of time in the beginning. That really hurt me. I was able to, he made a mistake. Unfortunately, I was able to get right behind him, but couldn't make nothing happen. But get ready for Moto 2. Look forward to it.
Best of luck to you today.
Big talk, big sports, big tunes. The Daily Habit, the wildest late-night party on television, weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. And let's send it back down to the podium with Aaron Bates, who has our 3rd place finisher. Aaron?
Chad Reed managed to get that whole shot. You ran up front there for a bit, Chad, but it seemed as though you were losing a little bit of pace. Are you comfortable out there today?
I don't think I lost pace. I didn't have any pace, but great start, which, I worked hard on that this week, but yeah, I don't know. I just had no rhythm. I was trying to get around Alessi and just kind of got a little bit flustered there, and just the 2 Ryans were just riding really, really well. So we got work to do, go back to the drawing board, try and get another whole shot, and come out and find some pace.
Congratulations on a job well done. Best of luck in Moto 2.
Yes, there will be a Moto 2 later today, and then there's plenty more racing as we go to other events in other cities. And we'll cover it all on Fuel TV. That includes our highlight show from this race, the highlight show every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fuel TV. Then next week, we are going to Mile High, Thunder Valley, just outside of Denver, Colorado. First Motos live at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fuel TV. The highlight show, of course, Thursday night following that. And then the July 4th weekend extravaganza at Redbud in Buchanan, Michigan. And we'll have the live coverage of the first moto at 1 p.m. Eastern. Now, we all unfortunately have to put our litigation hats on when we come to the Washington, D.C. area. Earlier, Aaron Bates talked to Tim Cotter about something very important to these riders.
I'm here with Tim Cotter from MX Sports. Tim, we're going to talk a little bit about the lead law, and we're so close to the Capitol. What can you tell us about the HR 412 Kids Just Want to Ride Act?
Well, HR 412 pertains to the CPSI, the Consumer Product Safety Commission. It was an act that was intended for instruments or toys that were manufactured for children. So they put them in their mouth and they get lead poisoning. But an unintended consequence is it includes motorcycles, because young mini bikes or small mini bikes are intended for young riders, and those are kids, and they have lead in them. It's impossible to build a motorcycle without lead. And so they fall into the category along with many other things like fishing equipment and books, and they're against the law right now. and it's a shame. And so H.R. 412 has a lot of support in Congress that repeals motorcycles from the CPSIA, and now we got to get over to the Senate side. And so our senators need to get on board, but the time is running out. It's December is the deadline for us till we got to start all over again. So it's really, really serious. I encourage everyone to contact their senators and congressmen.
That is just mind-boggling that this continues on, this lead law thing. It makes zero sense.
Yeah, it's completely ludicrous, and it's important to me. I have 2 children. My son's 3.5. My daughter's 7. You know, your daughter's 1 now.
Give her time.
And, you know, eventually, you know, we're going to buy these kids dirt bikes to ride as our family hobbies, and we need to fight that and get that act ran through to where everyone has the right to ride.
Yeah, that was, industry was blindsided by that one. So, yeah, contact your local congressman. We'll try to rectify that. As we come back, we're running through the history of American motocross. Has seen its fair share, including Ricky Carmichael's historic 100th career AMA Motocross win. We'll have the highlights of that when we return to Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing live on Fuel TV.
Ricky Carmichael was a part-time rider in 2007. His long reign was coming to a voluntary close. He entered just 5 rounds of the 12-race AMA Motocross Tour, giving his heir apparent, James Stewart, his last 5 chances to beat him. The rivalry came to a head at Budds Creek as Carmichael was going after his 100th career outdoor national victory. Stewart was determined to beat Carmichael at all costs.
It's going to be tough. The track is really, really fast, so I got my work cut out for me. When number 100 is going to be tough to get.
In the first moto, Stewart held the greatest of all time at bay, defending his lead from one attack after another from the 10-time series champion.
Carmichael trying to make a move, but James Stewart, with the tremendous speed that he possesses and the talent that he uses to get it, is just a difficult man to get around.
But the second time around, Carmichael was able to turn up the heat and pressure Stewart into a late race mistake.
Here goes Carmichael to the inside. Stewart made a little mistake and did the blocking, and Ricky Carmichael has the lead.
It was a bitter defeat for Stewart, who watched Carmichael ride off into the sunset with his 100th career win, wasting one of his last chances to prove that he was the new fastest man on the planet.
That's something I never thought would happen, and it's been an enjoyable ride.
Well, that's why they call him the greatest of all time. 100 wins plus outdoors. He came back and got 1 more before that, or 2 more before that was over.
And that day was an epic battle. I mean, 2 of the sport's greatest completely going at it. They separated themselves from 3rd place by a long ways. So now as we move into this 250 moto, we'll see if our lead riders can duplicate that. Taking a look here at Malcolm Smith, 139, of course, his brother. Or Malcolm Stewart.
Malcolm,
trying
40 years history. I know it got in your mind.
Yeah, trying to have the type of ride that his brother James had that day.
We'll have our 250 Moto 1 coming up. You can see the riders, teams, mechanics getting prepared. Don't go anywhere. This should be exciting to watch. We just finished up the first race of the day here of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing from Maryland. That was our 450 class. We now transfer over to the 250 class. Here's the big picture in this division. Tyler Rattray is your new series leader. He's been consistent all year and did get a win at round 2. So the veteran from South Africa carries the red number plate coming into this one as the man to beat.
Man, look at the eye of the tiger that he has. He is so focused.
And we'll show you the point standings in this 250 division. It is darn close. Rattray, Wilson, and Baggett, those are 3 teammates on Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. All 3 of them have held the points lead at one point this year. It's the first time ever that 3 teammates have shared the points lead through the first 3 rounds. That's crazy.
Yeah, and only Brock Tickle here, who's back in 8th, has not held the red plate, but he's gaining some momentum too. He keeps getting better with each race.
All right, let's show you what the track is like here at Budds Creek with our track map. Jeff, take us through it.
Going to be an interesting start down here to make that left. Massive uphill double. Come through here, and it's going to be when you get down in these lower sections, head back up the hills and head back down. And this Rockstar tabletop right here, they stretched that out about 20 feet uphill. Triple's going to be tough. especially earlier today in qualifying practice, the soil was really deep and soft, and it just made it so tough for these 250s to get around and keep that fast lap time. But I'm telling you, the track's in primo condition right now. It's going to be all-out speed, and they're all going to be chasing fastest qualifier Blake back.
Let's find out what the riders think of racing here at Budds Creek. A couple stars in the 250 class share their thoughts of racing here in Southern Maryland.
Budds Creek is, to me, it's a great track. A lot of elevation, a lot of ruts, high speed, really tricky left-hand corner for the start.
Yeah, Budds Creek is a great track. You know, they have some nice downhill jumps, some uphill jumps. The humidity is definitely very hot usually, and then I've actually grew up there a little bit. I've raced there a bit, so that's a fun track for me to ride on.
It's a kind of a weird setup at Budds Creek because the track is kind of in a hole, so the humidity really just bakes inside that hole.
Sick downhills, good flow. It just seemed, I like going down the downhill. It gets rough too. I can't wait for this year to go ride there.
Yeah, Budds Creek's really tough. I mean, it's kind of in that hole, so it's like almost like the humidity just kind of stays in that hole, and it's really tough. And yeah, I mean, I like that track. It's got quite a few jumps, and it's actually got that big step down that I like.
Yeah, Budds Creek is a tough one because it gets warm again. You're kind of in a little hole in the valley there, and there's some really cool terrain. You go up and down hills, and yeah, I'd say it's just, yeah, it's a fun track.
All right, we've talked about the Kawasaki guys dominating this series. Let's give you another rider to watch who could maybe break through. We're going to pick 36 Cole Seeley, Lucas Oil, Troy Lee Honda. What do you think, Jeff?
He's right there. Yeah, he's primed for some better rides. Here we're going to have to drop the gate. Moto 1.
Seeley was 4th fastest in the second practice today. Here we go. Gate is down.
Whoa, look at that start.
Dean Wilson on the 15. Been struggling with his starts all year, but not this time. He has got the early lead.
And Dean Wilson chose to start quite a bit further to the right on the gate than most riders, and he made it work for him.
Kyle Cunningham, though, on the DNA Star Yamaha going to try to challenge Wilson. They scrub opposite directions, almost hit each other in the face with the rear wheels. Wilson holding off the man in blue, Cunningham, but Cunningham going after it again.
You got Rattray 3rd, Durham with another good start in 4th, and I believe that was Gareth Swanepoel on a Yamaha, Cunningham's teammate, in 5th. So 2 Yamahas in the top 5 this time.
And now Rattray just goes right past the 35 of Cunningham. I don't know if Cunningham saw that coming. Here goes Durham on the red bike, jumping downhill. He wants to get around Cunningham as well. And they're all chasing the 15, Dean Wilson.
Wow, can you believe the intensity already? Woo. We don't even have half a lap in the books. And I spoke with Dean earlier this week and talked to him about the second moto.
Look at that triple by Cunningham. Sorry to cut you off, but he tried to jump past Rattray and all that work and didn't even pay off.
Short line was the fast line that time around, but Cunningham gave it a go on the outside. Oh, and then he misses a shift, and that's going to allow Tickle around the outside.
Wow, so Cunningham, that looks spectacular, but that whole section didn't work out for him. And now watch the 19, center your screen, Eli Tomac making a move on Durham on the 37. 19 and 37, scrapping it. Tomac takes the spot.
And here's this uphill triple jump where it's just about all that these 250Fs have. Basically wide open out of the turn to clear that triple.
You talked about intensity. This is unreal, these guys going at it. Tickle, Cunningham. The 19 of Tomac, 37 of Durham. Durham coming back on Tomac now. And he makes the pass. See if Tomac can get it back on the inside. And he does. No, Durham to the inside. He's got Tomac covered. Great racing, and this is lap 1. Tomac comes back.
Oh, and Durham keeps on the throttle, and Tomac has to get on the binders coming down there as they complete the first lap. Triple over the top. And that's a new section that they have right there. That peak has always been there, but this year they decided to make it a blind double.
Durham on the red bike going after the blue of Cunningham. Cunningham shuts the door. So temporarily the kid out of Texas holds off the kid out of Pennsylvania. And they're not too far back from it. No surprise. 3 Kawasaki's running 1, 2, 3. It is Wilson leading Rattray, leading Tickle.
Question is, where's Blake Baggett? looking across the top of your screen, 1, 2, 3 Kawasaki, and you're going to see Baggett in 10th. Last time by the start-finish line.
But Blake Baggett, who won our last race, as we watched Rattray and Tickle battle it out for second, Blake Baggett won our last race, and he was in this position in both motos, 8th, 9th, 10th early on, and then lit the afterburners in the second half and passed all these guys to win. So Baggett's far back, but he's okay back there.
Rattray doubles to the inside.
Everyone going inside. That triple not paying off. Let's send it down to Aaron Moore on our points leader, Tyler Rattray. Aaron?
Well, guys, Tyler's practice got abbreviated this afternoon when he ended up pushing his bike off during second practice. It wasn't a big issue, but they did have an electronic malfunction that his mechanic had to fix. Added some new tires on there, but he's been testing suspension all week long just in order to get a little bit more comfortable, but he definitely loves it here on this track. He said it's rough, it's rutted. It's exactly what he likes.
Well, practice is so important in this day and age because it's all qualifying, and the track was fairly even between first practice and second practice. One rider that opted not to ride second practice was the fastest qualifier from P1, Justin Barsha. He sets back in 9th. Now he is suffering from an illness. They've classified it as mono, so the reason that he would choose to do that is to save his energy for these motos after he already put in a good qualifying time.
Barsha back in 9th, as you mentioned. There is Tickle, who is in 3rd, the number 20. And waiting for Tickle to catch fire outdoors. Cunningham on the 35 still has Tomac and Durham all over him.
I like what I'm seeing out of Barsha's teammate here at 19, Geico Honda, Eli Tomac. He's been charging. He's had some podium finishes. Still looking for that first overall of the year, but look at the body English.
Yeah.
That's what I love about these young guys. They've got this whole new style that they use, and they're not afraid to let the bike fly around a little bit. You can be a little more animated with this 250F as opposed to the 450 that we've seen previously.
Cunningham has always been fast, but he has struggled with consistency. But this year, he seems to have figured that out. He's been up front in the majority of the motos this year. Had a podium finish a couple of weeks ago at Freestone in Texas. A top 5 in our first moto last week in PA, and he's running in the top 5 again.
And you know, all of our viewers here that watch Moto 1, when I pointed out Ryan Dungey had his laminated tear-offs flapping off the side, it looks like Cunningham is in the same situation.
Tear-offs, you can see the left side of the helmet of Cunningham, who's a 35 here coming downhill. The left side of the helmet. Yeah, explain that, Jeff. That's his goggle lenses flapping around.
Well, it's not the lens, but it's the clear tear-offs that you would use when you get roosted, mud, everything gets on your tear-offs, a real thin, clear layer, and you would pull that with your left hand from the left to the right. We have these laminated tear-offs that they use now, and in the past, they were each individual. Now they're all stuck together, so you really have to be meticulous with how you pull the tear off and pull it from the left side of your face across to the right. And if you just try to pull it out, you have the opportunity of just ripping all of that pack of laminated tear-offs off and being in the situation that he was in.
But on the flip side, the advantage of that pack of laminates, they can fit more on there without messing with your vision, right?
Much thinner. I don't know what the measurement is, but 7 tear-offs is the equivalent to what 3 used to be.
Aaron has more on the goggles. What do you have?
All right, guys, take a look at this. So when a rider is going by, what they want to reach up, they're going to grab with their right hand, and they're going to tear it off. Clear vision, boom, just like that. You're going to notice on top, they've also got some sweat protection to make sure it doesn't drip in their eye.
Sweat protection.
Yeah, you sweat so much, especially on a day like today. I mean, we've got 90+ degrees. Humidity is way up there. I can tell, Jason, because your hair got really curly in the parts that you had, but really laying it down here. That's right.
Look at this battle. Durham on the 37 and Tomac on the 19 are still going at it. Been about 4 or 5 laps of this. I can't even count how many passes there have been, and we might have another coming.
I like what I'm seeing. Geico Honda, Eli Tomac is on the premier Honda 250 team.
Durham's got him, just like that.
Durham 1110 mods Honda. This is like a privateer effort.
Almost went down.
And they've turned in some spectacular finishes and rides, but going to come up a little short here. Can Tomac go around the outside?
Yeah, Jeff, we can't overstate the equipment difference between Durham on the 37. Yeah, they're both on Hondas, but Durham has a box van where they cram 4 bikes into it. Their team basically consists of about 3 people, 2 mechanics and a team manager. Meanwhile, The bike that Tomac's riding, the Geico Honda, anything you want, they can get. They've got an army over there, and they've got support from Honda. So amazing what Durham is able to do.
Yeah, he certainly is. That team has done a great job setting up the bike for him, and I've been really impressed with his effort. Okay,
oh, yeah.
And you can tell that he's done the work, and he's put himself in the position here. Just a great couple of weeks for that team.
Checking on our leader, Dean Wilson. The lead is not that big, about 3 seconds. He's taking advantage of a good start to get the track position, but can he hold on? We have over 20 minutes of racing to go. But right now, Wilson's where he wants to be. Clean racetrack with his teammate, Tyler Rattray, trying to run him down.
So you actually reward people for staying with you?
Yep, the longer you stay with us, the more you save. And when you switch from another company to us, we even reward you for the time you spent there.
Genius. Yeah, genius.
You guys must have your own loyalty program, right?
Well, we have something. Sure, Tom. Huh? You should see November.
Oh, yeah.
Giving you more. Now that's progressive. Call or click today.
So what happens if I'm in an accident and need to get my car fixed?
Progressive makes it easy because we give you choices. You can pick where to get your car fixed. We can cut you a check. Or at our service center, we take care of everything for you.
Oh, so many choices.
Take your time.
The service center.
Okay.
Giving you choices. Now that's progressive.
Big talk, big sports, big tunes. Daily Habit, the wildest late-night party on television. Weeknights at 11 Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. Aaron Bates down in the mechanics area with a special guest. Aaron, who do you have?
Well, guys, I found Steve McCann here, the 2-time silver medalist at X Games for BMX Mega and Vert Ramp. And Stevie, not only that, you coming in for the Dew Tour, but you're a little bit early. So what's bringing you to Maryland?
You know, I'm out here for the motocross. I was out at Travis Pastrana's the other day filming for the movie, and I love motocross. I had to get out here. It's one of only 2 races I can come to this year, so here we are. Sun shines out, and we're having a great time.
Always great to see you. Thanks for joining us here.
Might have to see him battling with our boy Jamie Bestwick. Saw him on the podium there together, the Dew Tour. It's good stuff. All right, so Dean Wilson on the 15 continues to lead your 250 class of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Racing. Tyler Rattray's teammate is second, and the gap is almost identical. These guys are pushing each other so hard. Look how close this is.
The top 6 are grouped together, and the question is, where's Blake Baggett? He's running in 9th. He set a 2:05.4 in qualifying, and now is running a 2:07. So the moto not going the way that Blake Baggett planned. But what a battle here for the lead.
I wouldn't go so far. Baggett is claiming that he has been waiting to the 15-minute mark of these motos to put in his charge.
Pull the trigger.
To pull the trigger. So he is back there in 9th. We'll find out if he can catch these riders. We haven't seen him yet. He's got a lot of guys to go through.
Okay. He's 20 seconds behind the leaders right now. All the best guys are lined up in front of him. So
if he can pull this off,
he's going to be the magic man if he finds himself up front. Okay, if he can do that.
I don't know if you follow Latin mythology, but they're going to call him Chupacabra. He sneaks up on you in the night, and just when you think things are going your way, he attacks. So let's see if Blake Baggett can pull it off. That's the way he's been doing it the last couple of weeks. He lets these guys tire themselves out, and then he sneak attacks on him. Speaking of that, here's the 37 of Darren Durham going after the 35 of Kyle Cunningham, and he makes the move. Durham, he belongs up front. He has been here week in and week out. Unbelievable.
Yeah, there was no sneak attack there. Chupacabra, whatever you were saying. He just hounded Cunningham the whole way through, just kept pounding him around the sweeper, even with him. Just relentless charge here by number 37, 1110 Mods Honda, Darren Durham. And now let's see if Tomac riding the wide line.
And Tomac turned in the fastest lap of this moto the last time around. Here he is on the outside of the red bike, trying to get around the blue machine. DNA Shred Sticks, Star Racing Yamaha of Cunningham. 3 riders in the same turn at the same time.
Okay, let's see what happens here as Tomac's going to go wide and triple. Let's see if it's the... Oh,
the outside
triples to the inside.
Wow.
Yes, the line has finally grooved in to where the riders feel confident enough to triple in. It was really muddy there. You could tell by that massive rut that Cunningham just threaded the needle, led the front wheel of that Yamaha through there, and that might have prevented Tomac from getting by on the outside.
Yeah, well, you could tell as soon as Durham made the move on Cunningham, Tomac wanted to follow him through, but that triple on the inside, that 3 jumps in 1 that Cunningham pulled off, that has temporarily stalled the momentum for Tomac. And Durham is beginning to get away. Durham now is free to go after the Kawasaki's in front of him. And let's see, left side of your screen, left side of the track is Tomac, right side is Cunningham. They meet back in the same line in the corner.
Yeah, it's interesting there when you come over Henry Hill, all the riders are funneling way to the rider's right, and then at the last second they come over that last kicker and lean the bike to left and then have to lean it back to the right. So you're kind of zigzagging around trying to miss the holes and keep up your momentum without the bike going up and down. You want to try to keep it as flat as you can. But in motocross, especially here at Budds Creek, keeping the bike level, not an easy task.
And we'll go a little bit further back, give you the next rider in the order. It should be Justin Barsha. There he is in the number 17. Then it's Nico Izzi. And finally we see Chupacabra ready to unleash the attack. We're past the 15-minute mark. Can the 57 of Blake Baggett do what he has done in 3 of the 6 motos this year, which has come from way back to win?
Hey, 14 minutes here, plus 2 laps. Young SoCal rider is going to pull the trigger at this point and make up 20 seconds.
Aaron, what are you hearing on Blake Baggett at 57?
He's actually running with a little extra pressure on his shoulders this weekend. If you recall, he won the East Race Vegas Supercross, and that was the day before Mother's Day. So it was a special request from his dad that he wins today. It was all in joking spirits, of course, but I think he was being a little serious at the same time.
Wow, that'd be a great gift. If I was Tom Baggett, I'll take that, especially the fact that he's running 9th right now, and he is still about 19 seconds behind the leader. Baggett turned to 2:07.2.
Oh, and Baggett off the course. That uphill triple cost him, and he stalled the bike. I don't know if he's going to pull this one off.
See if he can get this bike started in a timely manner.
Martin Davalos just got by, and that'll push him to 10th. Well, the problem is, I was going to say there are 39 other riders with dads out here who would like to see him win also, but he's got bigger problems than that now. Lost a lot of time.
Wow. Last week he was brilliant, unbeatable, and now again this week. Watch here as he triples up. And you probably can't see it, but there's probably some ruts that he landed in and got his weight a little bit to the right. Didn't quite thread the needle right down where he needed to. And good piece of riding, though, to keep it on 2 wheels, even though that was a huge mistake, and it's definitely slowed his momentum.
Well, he was 20 seconds back, and the next time around, we'll give you an idea how big the gap is now. I don't know if he can overcome that kind of distance. Meanwhile, let's give credit where it's due. Dean Wilson has led this thing from the start, and he's still in the number 1 spot, but his teammate Tyler Rattray keeping it interesting. Brock Tickle as well. This one could go down to the wire, Jeff, and Wilson knows it. He knows that those teammates behind him who he rides with week in and week out have also got the fitness to go 30 minutes plus 2. So I think we're in store for some great racing. So Dean Wilson, who won this race a year ago, is looking to make it 2 straight at Budds Creek. Jefferson Memorial there in Washington, D.C. Wow. Yeah. Great stuff here in this area of the country. Motocross. Battle is on for the number 3 spot. Fuel TV's live coverage, 250 class of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross. The number 20 on the green bike is Brock Tickle. 37 on the left side of your screen. On the red is Darren Durham. There you see the gap. It's basically nothing.
Top 4 riders about 4 seconds apart right now. And Durham here on the privateer Honda 1110 mods, building the engine and chassis on that bike. He's trying to put a dent here in this Pro Circuit domination, and the story this season really has been Pro Circuit Kawasaki. They have dominated it. 3 of their 4 riders have had the red plate, but it's great to see the number 20, the only rider on the team that has not led in points, find his groove right now, running inside the top 3.
Well, it's strange coming into this outdoor tour. The riders who are up front in the Supercross season indoors, that would be Justin Barsha in the East title, Tickle, who won the West title, and Eli Tomac, who was a very close second to Tickle in the West. We thought those 3 could be the favorites. All 3 of those riders have really been a little bit below par. This is the best ride of the year so far for Tickle, but he still has Rattray and Wilson in front of him and Durham right behind him, so he's got some racing on his hands with 8 minutes and 2 laps to go.
All of our top 4, Wilson, Rattray, Tickle, and Durham, in the 2:08 lap time. Rattray was Wilson was 2:08 flat. Rattray 2:08.2, Tickle 2:08.5, and Durham 0.9. So Wilson just a click faster, and that's going to stretch it out now to about a 5-second lead for Wilson.
Looks to me
over fourth.
Durham and Tickle are pushing each other a little bit closer to Rattray. Now you can see Rattray with the red number plates not too far in front of them. There is Rattray, the red number plate signifying he is the championship series point leader. Maybe he got held up by some of this lap traffic. We saw the lap riders become a big factor in our 450 moto earlier today.
Well, maybe a bigger factor than any of that is the deterioration of this racetrack here at Budds Creek. Now we're starting to see the characteristics of this track as it starts to, as the day goes on, the bumps are forming, the ruts. Now watch, he'll get locked into a rut here in a line and come all the way down to this right-hander in a groove. Accelerate, shift through the gears, second to third, probably to fourth over this uphill triple. And then this is one of the sections on the track where no ruts have really formed. Yeah. That is an off-camber turn, and it's just kind of hard and slippery through there. But I'm telling you, up over Henry Hill, then you take a look down, there's some huge braking bumps coming into this turn right here. And there's Rattray. He's getting caught up with a couple lap riders. See if Tickle can do something with that.
Yeah, just as we suspected, the traffic has held up the 28 of Rattray and has allowed the 20 of Tickle to close in. Your Tickle, what do you think, Jeff? Is there a little motivation as far as on the fourth rider in this team, 3 of the 4 have led the points. I got to get up there and run with these guys. Is he thinking that at all?
Oh, certainly. I mean, when you're on a powerhouse team like Mitch Payton has, there's a hierarchy and there's a totem pole. This year, it's been a different rider at the top of the totem pole each week. And sure, there's some incentive to be that guy, and that's part of what makes that team so strong, is that they all feed off of each other.
Wilson has a 3.3 second lead over Rattray. Then Rattray and Tickle are so close they're practically in the same shot. Cole Seeley was our Fuel TV rider to watch at the beginning of this moto on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda. It has been a tough one though for Seeley. He is at 18th, and that's one of the toughest things in this tour, consistency. He was 5th in our last moto we raced a week ago at High Point.
Yeah, I was hoping that he was going to build on that strong ride, but I'll tell you, once you get buried back here in the pack, and if you just do not have the flow, this type of track beats you up all the way around. And what is really frustrating is this is only Moto 1. If you don't get it together during the break and come out the second moto with a strong ride, it makes for such a long day. If you think positively, you have a second moto to turn things around. And just in front of Seeley is Alex Martin, who of course had a 6th in Moto 2 last week.
Good point.
And so he was unable to duplicate that top 10, at least here in Moto 1.
Yeah, these riders 5th and 6th a week ago, and now running in 17th and 18th. That's how close the competition is here in this 250 class. Things change in a hurry. Nothing has changed, though, up front. Dean Wilson has led from the start. The gap has gotten bigger and then smaller at times, but he is yet to relinquish the lead, and time is running out if anyone wants to stop him from getting this moto victory.
Well, Wilson, of course, 2 moto wins on the season out of the 6, and let's not forget how frustrating it had to be after last week, falling with the lead in Moto 2.
Oh, Darren Durham, who is challenging for a podium, has crashed. Unbelievable, and he's holding up his hand to make sure everyone sees him out there on the track. I think he knows his bike is not going to get running, and he just wants to be safe out there. Man, tough break for the privateer Honda rider. We'll have the finish when we return to Budds Creek. Can Dean Wilson hold on and take the win? Well, just as we went to break, Darren Durham here in the 37 went down. Jeff, what's wrong with the bike here?
Look at the left side of the front wheel. That's the front brake caliper right here that has broken off in the crash. And you notice he looks down. Really dangerous having that dangling around. Could possibly get inside the spokes. Disappointing that he put the Honda on the map, because that was a top 4 ride. Incredible effort by Darren Durham.
Watch the best Kung Fu cult classic films every Saturday only on Fuel TV. Late night at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Go to fuel.tv for movie titles. Dean Wilson putting the kung fu grip on this moto, and it's going to be tough to fight him off. He gets a start, which he has struggled to get all year, and he's pretty tough to beat. He's proving it in this moto. We got 1 minute before the 2-lap board comes out. He has a 3.7-second lead on Tyler Rattray.
Wilson just lapping Dakota Tedder, the 166 there. He sets in 23rd, so Wilson pretty close to being able to lap 20 riders. Wow, half of the field here in this moto. And this is exactly what I was expecting out of Dean Wilson. After that fall in Moto 2 last week, I spoke to him this week, and you could just tell he was so frustrated with that mistake, and he knows what it meant. Pretty good effort to come back inside the top 10. But fantastic ride here in Moto 1, but I'm telling you, with Rattray just about 4 seconds behind him, and last time around at the stripe, it looks like Rattray could be even closer now.
Well, Jeff, you remember this one well. I missed the race. I had a kid. You had to call this one, and Dean Wilson on the number 108 last year took the win at Budds Creek. That was his first career win. It was one that was owed to him because he had the win locked up a few weeks earlier in Texas and threw it away. Great way for the kid to bounce back and get his first here. So great memories at Budds for this kid.
Well, right now, with 2 to go, they just went past the finish line. He's got some lap traffic as it looks like he's coming up on Justin Sipes, possibly. Makes his way past him, but look at that, 28.
Wow.
Tyler Rattray is on it.
Wait a minute, it's not over. 2 laps to go, and Rattray can see the number 15. So just like our 450 moto earlier, this 250 race could go down to the wire.
He's in it to win it, Weege.
And Rattray is not the kind of guy you want behind you late in the races, because he can, I don't care, hour-long motos, hour-and-a-half motos. He does not get tired.
He certainly has that MO, but he's focused. He's got the red plate, and he's been drawing some good lines around this track here. He's been really clean through all of his ruts and all of his turns right here, and he could just catch a break as Wilson gets into these lapped riders. And if any one of those riders makes a mistake, or Wilson chooses a bad line and falls into one of these deep ruts, you know, this thing's tightening up. And for Wilson, the pressure is on, because I know how determined he is and how hard he works at it. And once again, this pro circuit domination, this, you know, this totem pole that Mitch has got on the side of the 18-wheeler there, you want to be on the top of that thing.
After the race at Freestone, when Wilson and Rattray battled it out for the overall in Texas a few weeks ago, you know, I asked both of them about that. They said, you know, mostly because of Rattray, he's such a cool, calm, collected kind of veteran, doesn't get involved with the drama. Rattray said, you know, I show my teammates respect, and they show it back, and they don't expect to have any problems between the two of them. Even if this title goes down to the wire, although the mechanic of Paul Parabinos, who is the mechanic of Wilson, I'm sure he's a little biased. He's not rooting for the team right now. He wants his guy to beat the rest of the riders on this team.
Yeah, but you know, Rattray's got a little extra incentive, this being Father's Day week, and he's a father now.
It'll be the first one for him, that's right.
That's right.
But Wilson has perhaps weathered the storm. A lap ago, Rattray got close. Wilson has turned it up. He turned a 2:07 to Rattray's 2:09 lap, so he has added about 1.5 seconds to his lead.
Tickle's fallen off the pace a little bit. 2:10 last time around. That's going to put him about 9 seconds behind. But Cunningham is fourth still, 17 seconds behind your leader, and Tomac rounding out the top 5.
Tomac, midway through this race, turned the fastest lap of the race, and we thought that would maybe catapult him toward the front. It has not happened. Well, Kawasaki boys controlling it from the front.
And that's part of the technique. That's part of what you have to do is you have to know your body. You have to know when you can put in surges like that. And if you put out that big effort and you really strain your body and you become really physical, do you pay the price for that? So the trick is to do this sport, which is incredibly physically demanding, okay, strength-wise, cardiovascular fitness, all that plays a part, is to develop your technique and your style to where that it's efficient and you ride without really using energy. Because, of course, in motocross, we have 2 motos, and as Wilson looks back, he's going to see his teammate, Tyler Rattray, has fallen off the pace 2 or 3 seconds, and could be on his way here to the win.
That'll tighten up the points. You want to know how tight?
Yes,
There's
tell
only
me, Jason.
only a 2-point gap between Rattray and Wilson coming into this moto. So if Wilson wins,
and what's it going to be now?
Wilson would actually retake the points lead by 1 at the end of this moto. Now, that red plate will stay on Rattray's bike. They only tabulated it at the end of the day, but that's how close it is. One position between these two changes the championship picture.
And look at the fans here. Look at the fans that have came out in droves here on this beautiful day that we have. Look at that.
Well, that's why he was so frustrated last week when he didn't get the win. That's what these guys come to race for. They love the feeling of going to the podium in the middle spot.
That's because he hasn't worked up the sweat like Wilson has. Wilson's going to tell you he's tired.
He loves this feeling. Dean Wilson wins Moto 1 here at Budds Creek. Here's how close it is to his teammate Rattray in second. For the 28 is the runner-up here, and a nice breakthrough ride. Brock Tickle needed a little confidence coming in, and he gets it with a podium finish, 3rd place in this moto. He'll feel good about that one. Kyle Cunningham running 4th right now, Eli Tomac 5th, but it is another sweep for Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. For 20-plus years, this team has been winning races and titles, but this might be the best start they have ever had. Top 3 in points, top 3 in a whole bunch of the motos. Unbelievable what Mitch Payton, Jim Bones Bacon, and everyone else at Team PC have done thus far in 2011. And we'll be back to talk to their 3 riders when we return to Fuel TV. Welcome back. We just completed another classic race here at Budds Creek in Mechanicsville, Maryland. Round 4 of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. And we have the race winner down on the podium with Aaron Bates. Let's hear from Dean Wilson. Aaron?
There's just something about Budds Creek that seems to work for Dean Wilson. But Dean, this time you did exactly what you set out to do. You expected to win, and you finally got that start you've been working so hard at.
Oh, man, coming off that start, you know, I just came out halfway up. And I looked at both sides and no one was there, and it was the best feeling ever because, I mean, my starts have been horrible and really hurting me, you know. So got to the front, and I was a little bit sketchy, you know. I wasn't used to being out front right away, and I was just pretty timid and tight. But once I got going, you know, I was fine and just set kind of a good pace, and yeah, it was good. So I'd just like to thank everybody, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, my parents watching at home, my trainer Sam, and Toyo Escondido. Thank you so much.
What do you have in store for Moto number 2, and what is it like coming back to a place that you took your first win at?
Oh, it's tough to, you know, recover, but I go in my little ice chest and just relax in there, and yeah, just drink lots of fluids, little peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'm good to go.
Enjoy your tub, cool off, congratulations.
Wow, just gave away the secret. Peanut butter and jelly.
PB&J.
All right, that gets the job done, I suppose. And here's the results. We'll give you the full 40 of this 250 Moto 1. Kyle Cunningham, the first non-Kawasaki, in 4th on the DNA Shred 6-star Racing Yamaha. Barsha, good job riding with mono now, but sticks it out for a 6th place finish. And Blake Baggett only able to make it up to 7th, so that's not what he wanted after winning our last race. Give you 11 through 20. Travis Baker on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda finishes in 11th. His teammate Cole Seeley was the one to watch, but he had a bad start. He ended up 17th. Tough class if you don't get the jump in this one. Justin Sipes, representing the Sipes family since his brother Ryan is out with an injury this week. He takes 21st. There is the rest of the top 40. Let's send it back down to Aaron with our runner-up.
We had mentioned earlier it was an abbreviated practice for Tyler Rattray, who had an electronic problem, but Tyler, you've got to be pretty proud and pleased of the performance of that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I got off to a good start and got him behind Dean quick, and I knew he was going to be good in the first moto, and just try to stay behind him, try different lines, but the track's pretty one line, so it's really tough to pass, and I managed to come up on him a bit, and we both got messed up with lappers, so but yeah, other than that, it was all right. Got another moto to go, so looking forward to that, and just wanted to say thanks to the guys from Monster Energy, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Vans, Volcom, Traxxas, just everyone, thanks.
You had mentioned how rough and tough this track is and how technical it is, but it suits your style. You had also done some testing to your rear shock and suspension in order just to be with this track exactly. How much has that helped you out?
Oh, that's definitely helped a lot. You know, when I was testing with Bones, I was struggling a bit after the last round, and he managed to get a good setting for me, and it's working good now, and going to make a little change for the next moto, and I think it'll be good.
Terrific job from start to finish.
Big talk, big sports, big tunes. The Daily Habit, the wildest late-night party on television, weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. And let's send it back down to Aaron with 3rd place. Send it back down to Aaron here in just a moment. Brock Tickle taking your final podium spot. It's all green down there. It's domination by the Pro Circuit team.
You got that right. Look at these fans here, braving the heat. Just a fantastic crowd here. They're loving it here today.
And we'll have Moto 2 coverage on Speed. Back-to-back, we'll go 2 hours later tonight. Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, and then followed up after our 450 class to complete with our 250 class at 11 p.m. Eastern. So that's Saturday night motocross on Speed. Been a long time since Brock Tickle has been on the podium. Over a year, so he's figured it out. He's on the stage. He's with Aaron. Aaron?
I think he may have just got a little overexcited. You just about took off on us. But Brock, what is this moment like and where does it rank?
Yeah, you know, I haven't had a podium in outdoors in a couple years, and it's good to get up here. I need to step my game up, and I think I just did it that moto and just get my feet wet up there up front. So having fun. I can't thank everybody enough. Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Vans, Volcom, Dunlop Tires, everybody else forgot. Thanks a lot.
You said you've been getting back into the swing of it over the last couple of weeks. Last weekend, your best performance of a 5th overall. What's in store for this last moto of the day?
Yeah, you know, I'm just going to try to get out there to a good start again and just ride as good as I can, and I'll be happy. So I'd like to leave here with the podium. So hopefully I can finish off on a podium today.
Well, certainly a great ride there out of Brock Tickle. He was 13 seconds behind the leader at the finish. But one thing that I really was impressed with, beginning and midway part of that moto was his technique and the lines he was drawing on the track. His choices were exceptional. Now, if he gets a start, you never know. He could end up winning this thing with that third and the first moto.
Yeah, we're only halfway through the race day today. Remember, Speed will have the second moto coverage tonight. We're coming back to Budds Creek for more, so stay with us. Welcome back to a great afternoon of racing in the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship coverage here on Fuel TV. The Budds Creek National, we've completed the first 2 races of the day, the first 450 race and then the first 250 race. We'll give you the race recap here to show you exactly how our 250 moto broke down. Finally, a breakthrough here, a good start for Dean Wilson, who's been looking for one all season.
Well, he nailed that whole shot, and that has been something that he's been trying so hard to master this season. Executed it perfectly in Moto 1.
Now, Blake Baggett came in here with some momentum after winning last week, and the momentum went off the track.
Makes a little mistake here, stalls the engine, only loses 1 spot, but it really kept that momentum from building for him to work his way into the top 5.
Tyler Rattray kept the heat on Wilson all the way to the end, but Dino held him off, so he's got Moto 1 in the bag. See if he can duplicate that in Moto 2 a little bit later on today. So the fans got to see great action there, and not just from those top 3, also riders in the top 5. So let's send it down to Aaron Bates with more from 4th and 5th.
What an impressive ride for Kyle Cunningham, especially, Kyle, you just informed us of that 4th place finish that you really didn't get to ride at all this week after coming down with strep throat last week.
Yeah, we did a day of riding and took it easy all week, and man, I got a little tight and started feeling it. I think I ate something bad before the moto, but we're pumped on the 4th, and I got a good start, and I got to give it up to the DNA Shred Stakes, Star Racing, Yamaha, Scott, Dunlop, Infab, FMF, Enzo, Codsworth, all those guys for staying behind me, and hopefully we can better that 4th, the second moto.
Great job out there. And Eli Tomac putting together a great performance as well. Eli, you've got a lot of pressure on your shoulders. You've got Grandpa here for the first time watching your pro career.
Yeah, it's fun. It's cool to see some family come out, and I wish I could have done a little bit better, but a 5th's not bad, and my start was actually reasonable. It was about top 5, so I'm stoked to go into the second moto knowing I can get a better start.
Best of luck in the second moto.
Yeah, the young kids bringing their dads and granddads to the races, but in the 450 class where the riders are a little older, a lot of them actually are dads. So an interesting mix here. Of course, motocross is a family sport. You can't get to the races as a kid unless mom and dad are helping you out. So we're going to get to a little feature here as the stars of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross tell you about what their experience is like with their dad and racing and on Father's Day.
Dad, I think that, he's special for so many different reasons, but, me and my dad, I guess we just have a relationship that's, I would call unique, like I love him more than anything, but it's just amazing what he's got me into and the support that he gave me at a young age, and I love it, everything that I know in my whole life, he introduced me to it, so I'm thankful for that.
What makes my dad so special is just the unique bond that we had growing up and racing, and that's what comes to mind when I think of my dad, is just the relationship that we formed traveling up and down the highway in Colorado going racing.
Maybe the whole time through, coming through amateurs, he definitely had my back and went through probably more than he should have to get me here. But, I definitely think about it often, and he definitely went the distance for me.
I think just the heart that he has for me, and, I guess the love that any father would have. So it's cool to have him, a part of my life, and, watch me grow up and race and do that. So I think that, just having him around is good.
Well, I have a personal experience here. I won my first championship in '92, and I chose not to have my dad at the event. I needed to do this thing on my own. And when I made the turn up that final hill for the checkered flag, all I could think of was the sacrifice and the effort that he put into my amateur career to help me get there. So, special moment.
Pretty cool. My dad's big sacrifice is watching these shows every Saturday afternoon, helping expand our viewing audience. So
man, it takes some dedication.
To sit there on the couch. Thanks, bud. That is our coverage here live on Fuel TV and a Father's Day weekend. We're going to give you the upcoming schedule. Don't forget, of course, our highlight show every Thursday night on Fuel TV, so you'll get to catch everything you may have missed here from Budds Creek. And then we'll follow that up with our next round of racing, round 5 from Lakewood, Colorado. First moto coverage, of course, live on Fuel TV, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday night, highlights of that, and then we'll go to Redbud in Michigan on July 4th weekend. Live first moto coverage on Fuel there as well. And tonight on Speed, Saturday Night Motocross, we'll have 450 class Moto 2 at 10 p.m. Eastern. Follow that right up with the 250 class Moto 2 at 11 p.m. Eastern. So wall-to-wall motocross, and then we'll leave you alone on Sunday so you can celebrate Father's Day. Maybe go riding with your dad. That's the best way to do it.
There you go. I like that
Congratulations to our first moto winners today, Ryan Villopoto and Dean Wilson. Kawasaki's looking good so far today. Tune in on Speed tonight to find out who wins the rest of them. For Aaron Bates, Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us from Budds Creek.
As the world's most competitive motocross series heads to the Maryland coast, a championship battle is taking shape. Can the contenders answer the call? Through the first 2 rounds of the 2011 title chase, Chad Reed was setting the pace on board his TwoTwo Motorsports Honda.
Chad Reed wins in Freestone.
As the series moved east last week in Pennsylvania, Kawasaki's Ryan Villopoto made a statement with his victory at historic High Point Raceway.
Ryan Villopoto wins his first moto of 2011.
Is this the time for Suzuki's Ryan Dungey or Yamaha's Davi Millsaps to claim the checkered flag? We're ready to drop the gate in the 450 class. The Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship starts right now from Budds Creek.
Just outside of our nation's capital on a Father's Day weekend, it's round 4 of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. It's the Budds Creek National from Mechanicsville, Maryland. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Budds Creek. Jason Wygant, of course, joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig for Speed's coverage of the 450 class of AMA Pro Motocross. Let's give you the big picture storylines we'll be following today. First, Ryan Villopoto back on the board. Our Supercross champion struggling a little bit early in motocross, but he bounces back with a big win 1 week ago in Pennsylvania. So Villopoto is definitely going to be a contender now for the rest of the year. And speaking of back on the board, Josh Grant happened to be back racing at all. Knee surgery knocked him out of competition for nearly 6 months. He will make his 2011 motocross debut today. And how about Ryan Dungey, defending series champ, yet to win a race so far this year, but he was the fastest rider in qualifying this afternoon at Budds Creek. So today could be the day that Dungey finally gets win numero uno. So for more analysis on all that, we turn it over to Jeff Emig, our 4-time champ, talk about Budds Creek and talk about the competition it's going to race today.
Well, yeah, the big story here is this track. Legendary facility. There's been some epic battles go down at this place. Heat and humidity are prevalent here. Track is getting really rough. It's going to be physical, and the rider's going to have to get after it. And I think that today, the 3 top riders on the top of the championship points, these guys are legendary riders, and I believe that we're going to see a great battle between those 3 riders here later on.
give you the 4-1-1 and tell you exactly how we race motocross on speed. We run 2 motos in this 450 class, 40 riders in each, and each of those races lasts 30 minutes plus 2 laps. At the end of the day, we combine the scores from the 2 races to determine an overall winner. And we do have highlights from the first moto coming out in a bit, but first we're going to show you exactly what this track.
There's more ruts on the track than even before. So right here, taking a look at the track map, it all looks pretty easy, but I'm telling you, get through these rollers, through the finish line, here's where you start to have some undulation in the track, up and down these hills, off camber, triple step down here, these Rockstar and Thor jumps here, and that's what's so great about this track, is it's got a lot of natural terrain, but they built some big obstacles in it. Huge uphill triple right here, down through the onboard section that we showed you, over the Lucas Oil Henry Hill, and that's a lap at Budds Creek.
And as we mentioned, we do have a moto complete already today, so we'll give you the highlights of our first race. Gate drops. Chad Reed going to elbow a bunch of guys out of the way in the first turn, do what he needs to do, and put the 22 machine up front.
And of course, Chad Reed has won 4 of the 6 motos, so he's going to check out on this thing, right?
Sure, it's gone, it's over. No, Mike Alessi gets around him, and then Ryan Villopoto gets around Alessi. Another of the classic Villopoto-Alessi battles. Villopoto in the lead. We figure now he's going to check out.
He's got 10 seconds. Don't worry about it. He's flying. Dungey's coming back here from 4th. He's trying to make the move around the outside on Chad Reed. That's going to give him 3rd.
Nice line by Dungey there. So he's in the number 3 spot. But while he's doing this battling, Villopoto is getting away.
Yeah, I mean, Villopoto was out. He was gone. And Alessi was trying to hang on to 2nd, and Dungey wisely goes around the outside. Alessi slams the door. Said, I'll just keep my momentum up. But Dungey 10 seconds behind at this point.
Then Reed and Alessi going to battle for the final podium spot for top 3. And Reed is finally able to make the move. Series points leader. Consistent, but not where he wants to be. He wants to be up front. Tommy Hahn, watch this. He's chasing down Alessi and falls. Didn't look like that hard of a crash, but he took a handlebar to the side. That would knock him out of the moto. He thinks he might have cracked some ribs. We'll see.
One of the finest rides I have ever seen. And your leader was out front and rolling, and then he stalls the engine. 10-second lead dwindles away.
And Ryan Dungey is going to catch Ryan Villopoto after that mistake. They would battle all the way to the finish, but Villopoto would just hang on by about 1.5 seconds. You see Dungey on the yellow bike right behind him. But Ryan Villopoto gets another moto win. That's 2 moto wins on the year. He did win the overall last week at High Point after winning that first moto. So we'll see if he can make it hold up. Dungey, Reed, Wyndham, Alessi, all those guys are going to try to run him down here in Moto 2. Let's send it down to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Aaron Bates, who has our progressive pre-race report. Aaron?
We saw Christophe Pourcel get his feet wet at Hangtown and at Freestone, but then we haven't seen anything from him since. I caught up with David Villemin, the team manager of Moto Concepts, to find out exactly why he was terminated.
Yeah, our rider, Christophe Pourcel, has been terminated. It was a press release out this week from Moto Concepts, and basically, you know, he wasn't comfortable on the bike in Freestone at Run 2, and we wanted to test with him with Yamaha and Kayaba. For 2 weeks, we had a weekend off, so we had a lot of time to test, and everybody stepped up to the plate to test with him, and he never showed up for testing, and he actually did not show up for the race in Mount Morris. So that was maybe the only thing we could do is, you know, terminate the contract.
Yeah, it looks like a few questionable decisions out of the Frenchman, Christophe Pourcel. I think he's one of the best riders there is out there, but certainly his career is off track right now.
We'll see if he ever gets another opportunity to come back. Speaking of coming back, when we return, we'll have the 2nd moto after a great first moto was put in the books by Ryan Villopoto. And in an intermission, Spider-Man and Gravedigger showed up to entertain the fans with some monster truck action. The Monsters of Motocross coming up next. Just saw shots of our nation's Capitol building, Washington, D.C., only about a half hour north of our racetrack here at Budds Creek. And there is a nice international vibe as well to this track, which has hosted a couple of World Grand Prix races, a Motocross of Nations. Let's give you the Rocky Mountain keys to the race in the 33 of Josh Grant, returning back to racing. Jeff.
Yeah, Grant right here in the middle. He's lined up just to the right side of Chad Reed. And he's got Mike Alessi on his left. So welcome back. Put in a great ride, great qualifying. Needs to get another good start to put himself into position. Stay healthy and keep the bike on 2 wheels. He has just had so much time off. It's really important for him to finish both motos here today and lay down the foundation for a successful future.
All right, we're about to turn that 30-second card sideways, and after that, you'll hear the revs climb, and then the gate will drop, and we'll go racing here in moto number 2 at Budds Creek. Mike Alessi leads them into turn 1. Will he lead them out? I think Ryan Dungey was able to knife through on the inside. They almost collide.
Wow.
Who wants it?
Alessi or Wyndham. I'm not sure who made it across the white stripe first, but I know that Alessi shifted gears faster than anyone and basically chopped Dungey and Wyndham.
So those
surprised
three
didn't go down.
Yeah, I thought Dungey had the whole shot for sure until Alessi was able to come through. So it's Alessi in the 800 in the lead, the 1 of Dungey, the 22 of Reed. Where did he come from? He's challenging Wyndham, and he gets third.
Villopoto looks like he's going to come around the right of your screen. Green Kawasaki, Moto 1 winner. He is in 5th. Chad Reed needs to do something just like he did last week.
Like he did right now.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, explain Reed's situation here. First moto not so good, but he's back with a vengeance early in this one.
He just could not get things going, and he mentioned to us earlier that he just couldn't find his rhythm. And a champion like Chad, he has the ability to bounce back, and so rhythm and being able to ride those fast lines is what Moto 2 is going to be all about.
Dungey wants a piece of Reed. He's trying to come back, get the number 2 position away from him, with Wyndham 4th, Villopoto 5th, and Mike Alessi getting away out front.
And notice there's some parts of the track where they put some water down, okay? That's to reduce the dust, but in those hard, dusty sections, that's where it's really slippery right now. You can see where the dirt is dark, it's wet. Where it's light, more than likely dry.
Back uphill, snaking our way past where the track hooks onto the starting line area. And Alessi already getting away, but this is the Alessi specialty, the good start, strong early laps.
Yeah, this is our onboard section, and you're coming up over Henry Hill. Watch how bumpy it gets coming up through here, and then you drop back down into some serious braking bumps on the other end. And this is the type of section where the chassis setup, your suspension settings, and of course your technique all play a part. But when a bike is not dialed in and the rider is not jiving with it, you seem to hit every bump. Chad Reed, that's kind of how the first moto was for him. He didn't find his rhythm. We'll see this moto if he bounces back and has a way to find the rhythm and work with the bumps rather than against them.
There's Villopoto on the number 2. Green Kawasaki in 4th. He has gotten around Wyndham now at the end of lap 1. And in the first moto, he was in about this position early on. Then the second and third lap, he really found some extra speed and was able to work his way to the number 1 spot and take off. See the countdown clock at the top of the screen. 30 minutes and 2 laps we will do here. So we are only about 3 minutes into a longer than 30-minute race.
Let's see what sort of intensity Ryan Villopoto has here as he pushes through the second lap here. And the first moto, he started out on fire, and he wasted no time to get to the front. So you can see right now he's a few seconds behind. He's about 5 behind the leader. Reed and Dungey are in between him. He's followed by Wyndham, who had a pretty good first moto also.
Good battle here. Brett Metcalfe on the Suzuki, Jake Weimer on the Kawasaki. That is for 6th and 7th. These two have been pretty close in a lot of the motos this year, and they have hooked up once again, although I know that they want to be a little closer to the lead pack as well. Betty on the outside.
Metcalfe working the outside line, doing a good job of not following the rider in front of him. It's really hard to pass a bike when you're in the same line, okay? So he's making good use of the track, trying to find the new lines, and it's okay here early on, especially when you obviously have got the speed on the rider in front of you, and you know that you have them. When you can take some odd lines and you're moving all over the place and you're still on his rear tire, that's when you know that you got this guy.
Tightening up here, 2nd and 3rd, Reed on the 22 and Dungey on the 1. That was reversed early in this race, but Reed made a quick pass. Dungey has regrouped to come back after Reed, who is leading your championship point standings, but he had a 15-point lead coming into the first moto today. He now has a 10-point lead because Villopoto got the drop on everyone in our first race earlier today. And Reed's got to try to get those points back. He's in position to do it with the good start. The best start of all, Mike Alessi. And we'll give you the idea of the gap here in just a moment as we begin the 3rd lap. It's less than a second, only 8/10 between Alessi. Oh, and Alessi almost threw the lead away.
Well, think about the number 22, Chad Reed. He's your points leader. He's also won all 3 second motos this year.
Great point.
End of the day, Reed has been the strongest.
He looks stronger at the end of the day than he did at the beginning. Chad Reed trying to run down Alessi. He continues to lead Chad Reed. A great battle for the number 1 spot. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Racing from Southern Maryland. There's Alessi, kid out of the high desert of California, the veteran from Australia, all over him.
Well, look at that. Alessi makes a little mistake, and it allows Chad Reed to get to the inside line. He pulls the tear off. This is going to be a drag race. Who can get on the brakes the latest? Wow, did you see how much these bikes are jumping around?
Oh, and Reed, that was not supposed to be a spot where you can make a pass. He's going to try it on the outside anyway.
Let's see if Reed cuts back to the inside, tries to hold the tight line. Yes!
He does. But Alessi's able to hold it. Reed is all over Alessi. They're going to go side by side again. This is another drop away.
And let's see if this rider's left. Now Reed's going to fall down to the inside. Still can't make the pass.
Wow, but where is Reed even finding these opportunities?
Well, and the problem is that by doing this cat and mouse game here with Alessi, that's going to slow them down a little bit. And then Reed's going to have to worry about Dungey.
Oh yeah, Dungey in third, sitting back watching. Watch this big step up here.
Just clipped the top and then over the next roller. Reed's been trying to hold this tight line, and now Alessi picks up on it, but is it enough?
Oh! Side by side again. They're going to scrub this finish line jump together. Reed on the inside, Alessi on the outside, and I think that's enough for Reed to grab the spot. Alessi ran it hard, but finally Reed has busted the door down. That took, what, 2-3 laps of pressure. And finally the 2-2 is into the number 1 spot. How will Ryan Dungey respond to this? Will he go after Alessi?
Well, and this is the type of riding out of Chad Reed, or should we call him Sir Chad Reed at this point, that we have not seen in the first motos the last 2 weeks. But the second motos, the Australian has been on fire, and he's shown some serious determination. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Well, Dungey got the memo. He saw Reed go to the number 1 spot, so he knows he has to follow Reed through. He's putting a charge on Alessi, and again, you do not see a threat at the moment from Villopoto, who is in 4th. So this is the golden opportunity for all 3 of these riders to get away from Villopoto, who has won every single race he has ever competed in at this racetrack.
Yeah, Villopoto just a couple seconds behind, and as Dungey tries to work into the number 2 position, should be noted that even though we got 20 minutes to go, that if Dungey was to finish the 2-2 and Reed the 3-1, Reed would still win the overall. So the math is going to get pretty tight here.
There's Dungey showing a wheel to Alessi on the inside. Here we go. One of the fastest sections of this track.
Dungey flies down Henry Hill, and look at the wide line. Let's see if he can carry more momentum around the outside and do something with it.
No, Alessi controlling the good spots on the racetrack. Dungey trying everything he can come up with.
Yeah, the long line didn't work, and it also allowed Ryan Villopoto to catch up about a second. Now you're starting to see him creep into the screen.
Yeah, that's not what these guys want to see. Villopoto, who is lethal on this track. Here is Dungey putting the challenge to Alessi in the same spot Reed did. Nice job walking the tightrope on the inside, and Dungey's going to get the spot. That could not have been easy, Jeff, for him to hold that inside over those jumps at that speed.
It takes some serious physical strength and some technique to maneuver the bike, and that's the type of track where you're really using your lower body to bend the bike around those rollers and those doubles.
Give us the progressive hole shot replay with Jeff and explain how Alessi got the hole shot after Dungey was leading down the stretch.
It's Wyndham on the inside. See, he taps the back of Alessi. Both riders hammering the throttle, and it's Alessi that just edges him out. And then watch Alessi get up on the side of the hill. Oh, and they go out of sight. Alessi shifted gears on that 450 KTM and really laid the power down.
Uh-oh, here comes Villopoto. And these 2 riders, no strangers to each other. We've talked a lot about them racing as kids in the amateur ranks as Villopoto triples around the outside. But they also had they just want to mention, they had a battle back here in 2006 when they first met up as professionals. And a couple of turns from here, Villopoto straight parked Alessi. He took him down, and he said that was revenge for all their battles as amateurs. So there's a lot of history between these two at this track. There's Villopoto on the outside.
The fans know all this, too. They're cheering these guys on. We have got a fantastic crowd here. You see them all lined up under the trees trying to get a little bit of shade. Good 90 degrees out here. The humidity is really high. And here in the second moto, this is when the physical conditioning, this is when it counts. This is when you're doing all your training and everything during the week, and you're suffering through all of that. This is when it pays off.
Villopoto, he knows it's time to go. We're nearing the halfway point of this moto. You see the countdown clock at the top. And while he tussles with Alessi for third, Reed and Dungey are leaders. Oh, a mistake! Reed and Dungey are getting away, and now even further away from Villopoto as he clipped that hay bale.
It's going to give Alessi a little bit of breathing room, maybe a chance to get his heart rate back down, to focus on the lines that he wants to ride, not the defensive lines that he might be forced to ride, and get back in his groove. And Mike has the ability to do that.
But Villopoto has the ability to close the gap back in. So it'll be interesting as the 800 and the 2 square off for the number 3 spot, while Dungey tries to attack Reed for the number 1 position. What a great setup for a battle to the wire here in Maryland.
When it's time.
Caught back up to Mike Alessi. So here's your race for third. Alessi on the left, Villopoto on the right. The big step up. Villopoto clears the whole thing. Is that going to be enough to allow him to make the pass? No.
Wow, look at Alessi. He just stayed in his line, but Villopoto relentless.
Wow.
Over the finish line jump.
I didn't think he'd be able to make this happen. He started on the outside, switched to the inside, and Villopoto's got the spot.
He's just got too much strength at this point of the moto for Mike Alessi. It's a great ride by Mike Alessi. I cannot underestimate how impressed I am with him coming back from the injury in the first round, and to be riding basically a 3-4 last week. He was docked one position, so he goes 4-4 at High Point. Now he's coming back another top 4 ride here with about half the race left to go on one of the toughest tracks of the year.
Reed and Dungey duking it out for the number 1 spot. It's as close as they have been since the opening lap of this race when Reed made a pass on Dungey. Now Reed got to hope that Dungey doesn't repay him and get him back here in the second half of the race.
Well, these guys are laying down an incredible pace. 205s for both of our leaders.
Wow.
Alessi and, well, Alessi was a 209s, obviously why he was headed backwards. With Villopoto, a 207 last time around. So Villopoto's about 8 seconds behind this group here. And these guys need to keep working at it because Villopoto may just close that gap up if they play the cat and mouse game.
Aaron Bates, what's happening trackside?
What a battle that's taking place right now between Reed and Dungey. Both of those boys made minor changes during the afternoon for the second moto. Ryan Dungey just took minor tweaks here and there. Nothing overly crazy. This is just to adapt to the way the track is changing. But Chad Reed, on the other hand, fresh tires from him, just looking for any additional traction.
Wow, so Reed not changing much. Struggling in Moto 1, strong in Moto 2. So, like you said, Jeff, earlier, it's all on him. The bike's fine.
It's on him. Just get some fresh rubber on the bike with those nice sharp edges, because you're going to need it. These sections right here, when you're leaning the bike over and you're on the throttle, and even through there, that last double down has got a wet spot there. And, man, when you get the right tire set up, it seems like you can do whatever you want with the bike. You can put it in any line. You can go up this off-camber hill right here and just lean the bike into the turn as the track's going away from you and just ride on those side knobs. Oh, it was so good. I'm telling you, factory bike. Factory tires.
By the end of this race, Jeff Evans coming out of retirement. Just watching this battle on this racetrack has got you fired up. But why wouldn't it? Look how good this is as Dungey is ready to try to make a pass.
Hey, if I could scream and take my shirt off and wave it right now, I'd be one of those fans out there. I love this stuff. I love seeing what these riders are doing. We spoke about it at the opening of the show. I really felt that these riders were going to separate themselves from the rest of the pack, and so far I was right.
Well, we thought it'd be the 3 doing it, but the 2 are separating themselves. Reed just ran a 206, Dungey a 205.8, and Villopoto a 208. 7. So they're about 2 seconds quicker than Villopoto right now.
And that's what's impressive about what our leaders are doing is not only, you know, you have a tendency when you're in the lead, when somebody catches you, to start riding, defensive. Reed said, no, I'm not going to ride defensive here. I'm going to step it up. And I'm going to raise the level once again because I've won every second moto this year, and I'm not giving this up here at Budds Creek either.
We have seen some great races between these two riders already in the Young 2011 series. Had it in the second moto at our opener in Hangtown. Had it in the second moto of round 2 at Freestone. Another great one here. It's so hard to pick a favorite between Dungey and Reed. They have been so equally matched so far.
Yeah, Dungey tried a new line there. It didn't work. He's just outside of the roost off of Chad's bike, so no big mistake. Just has to remember that next time around after Henry Hill, he's going to have to funnel down to the inside. The outside is not going to work there.
Whoa! Dungey doing everything he can to keep the bike on the inside of that left-hand turn. Just held onto the motorcycle. This Friday, Orange County, California is your home to the greatest collector car event in the world, Barrett-Jackson, and you can see it on speed. The finest, rarest, most desirable cars on the planet are all in one place, and it's all up for grabs. Watch the auction live on Speed, Friday at 5 Eastern on Speed. U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, and meanwhile, we've got some history being made, not just as racers on the track, but a wedding. On the left is Jonathan Beasley, the owner of Budds Creek Raceway, getting married during halftime with Roger DeCoster, the man, as the best man. And the man in this moto is Chad Reed, looking to make a little history of his own. Wants to win this thing. While we are away at break, Ryan Dungey was all over Reed, and Reed has weathered the storm and pulled back ahead.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note that in 2009, when Chad was with Team Suzuki, Roger DeCoster was guiding him through his first and only, to this point, AMA Motocross Championship. So lots of history made as Chad wrapped up that title here at this facility.
That's right.
In what was it a race or a personal watercraft race, a jet ski race, or something? It was really wet that day.
Yeah, the whole track was a Budds Creek, basically. Yeah. Now we're going to explain how the overall works. Look at the top of the screen. This would be your overall. Reed, if he wins the moto, a third and a first would give him 45 points. He would tie Villopoto on points, but Reed would win the tiebreaker by virtue of the better second moto, and Dungey would finish third. He'd be 1 point back. So Dungey essentially has to catch Reed. If he beats him in this moto, he beats him for the entire afternoon. Well, and Dungey's not done.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of our point system. 25 for first, 22-20, and you get that one extra point for winning the moto. That's the incentive for going out, and the overalls don't count towards championship points. We score the championship for each individual moto.
You just saw the leaders go by. We'll give you an idea of the gap now between those two and Villopoto, and they have just left Villopoto in this one. This will actually, should be, the first ever defeat for Villopoto at this track. He had won 9 out of 9 motos in his career at Budds Creek. Way back now in third. But behind him, Kevin Windham in fourth. Great ride for the 33-year-old. Who is probably going to take the rest of the summer off. He was only here as a replacement ride for Josh Grant, who is now back from injury. So Kevin did the job, rode the bike while Grant was out, and he'll probably call it a summer. But what a way to end this little guest performance.
Wow, look at that. Double down. That's a blind little double into that turn. Kevin, last lap around was at 2:10. Villopoto was just about a half a second or so faster. But let's see if Windham can keep the charge going, keep the momentum on, and pick off Villopoto here. That would ruin Villopoto's day at this point if he dropped one more position.
Yeah, because at least right now, Villopoto and Reed would end the day tied in points. If Windham gets Villopoto, Villopoto would drop from second overall to third behind Dungey, and he would lose a couple of points on the day to Reed. Doesn't want that to happen. So we've been wondering who could maybe spoil the party with our top 3, and maybe it's Kevin Windham. What are you hearing about Kevin, Aaron?
Well, if he's going to spoil, he's definitely got a little bit of time to do so, but I was speaking with Brian Palma, his mechanic, and the only thing that he had changed up, a special request, a Kevin Windham request, a brand new shock for the second moto. He just really likes the feel, and he wants to be comfortable at his final race this summer.
Well, that's interesting. It seems like Aaron is referring to a new shock with a new setup, fresh oil and all that, but the same spec. And now a shock actually takes a little bit of time to break in, and a fresh one seems to be just what the doctor ordered at this point for Team Honda and Kevin Windham.
And we expect the other American Honda racing rider, Trey Canard, to be back. They're saying maybe at Millville, Minnesota in about a month's time. Honda, as team, has been decimated by injuries this year. That's why they brought Windham in. Windham was only supposed to race the indoor Supercross tour. Now that Josh Grant is back, Windham can take the rest of the summer off. But every time Windham has a good ride like this, he probably starts thinking twice and thinking maybe I should race a few more. In fact, look at this. He has closed back up to Villopoto. This is a bad lap for Villopoto. He had a little gap built up, but it's gone. Yeah, look at Kevin right now. This is when he is at his best. He is effortless out there, flowing around the track. He has that rhythm that we spoke of earlier, and Villopoto seems to have no rhythm at this point. I don't know if it's physical, if it's mental, but right now, Villopoto is definitely come under fire from the veteran Kevin Windham, seeing he's 13th all-time on the overall win list. Pretty incredible career that he's had. And that's the thing about Kevin Windham, and that's why Honda, whether he's on Geico Honda team or rides a factory team, you can always count on him being there. He's been one of the most consistent riders. Doesn't seem to get hurt a lot, and always right there. Well, the fans want him to be always right there on the podium, and if he could have his last race of the summer and end it in third place, they will go crazy here at Budds Creek, because Windham is quite possibly the most popular rider on the tour. He's been around so long, so much respect for what he's done. And how about this, with just over 2 laps to go, he is trying to get Villopoto for the number 3 spot. While Dungey tries to get Reed and Windham tries to get Villopoto. Man, some great racing to watch here. Saturday, the Rolex Sports Car Series is revving up for a fight on a new battlefield. For the first time in a decade, Grand Am returns to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And this legendary track promises road racing at its best. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series, Saturday live, 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Speed.
I'm telling you, Weege, the number 2 of Ryan Villopoto, our first moto winner, he's out there, and he just does not have that flow and the rhythm that he had in Moto 1. He stretched it out a little bit on Windham, and now we go back to the lead.
And Ryan Dungey is still close enough to make something happen down the stretch with a lap and a half to go. Reed leads it. Dungey is right there. We've seen this happen between these two several times this year. So maybe watch the lines here. What do you think? Does Dungey have some spots picked out to try to make a pass on the final lap?
Yeah, Dungey's on it now. Reed didn't draw such good lines going up that last hill. You see his mechanic there, Lars, pointing to the back, telling him that, hey, the competition is there.
And Dungey is still right there. Who's going to win this one on Father's Day weekend? It would be a special one for whoever does it. Only second Father's Day ever for Chad Reed. He would be happy. We talked to a bunch of these riders about what their dads mean to them, especially important in motocross because it's a family sport and dad's got to help you get to the races. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I always just look at it, Father's Day as being something that you looked up to your dad, and it's definitely pretty special to have my own little son.
Now being a father, racing, you're away from your family, which makes it tough for Father's Day, but it's definitely special, and it makes you proud, too, to see your kids and see how special they are to you.
Father's Day is it's changed just from the fact that to feel the appreciation from them. I mean, you feel it on a daily basis, but to have a day where they come and they really say thank you and stuff is really cool. And to be a father is not really about getting a reward, but to have them just come on that day and make the special little cards and give you the hug and really show you, go above and beyond showing the love. It makes you feel good, and like I said, just kind of the reward comes from every day, to be honest with you, raising them and watching them do all the cool things that they're doing. My oldest is now 8, and she's into some really cool stuff herself, so the rewards are daily, but to have that one special day where they can jump on you and give you a hug and show you that card they made while you're off at a race is pretty cool.
It's changed quite a bit, being a dad now, got a lot of different things to do and changing diapers, and it's a completely different world, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a cool experience.
Want to talk about a cool experience? How about trying to wrestle the lead away from Chad Reed in the last lap of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross event? That's what Ryan Dungey's trying to do. You see Reed, the 22, and Dungey, the number 1. It is still close with a half a lap to go.
Both riders having to pick their way through the lapped riders, but through the mechanics area, you see everyone from Team Honda waving the towels and cheering on 22 of Chad Reed. He's on his way to winning the overall.
I think he's going to do it.
Moto2.
Man, a terrible performance in Moto 1. He bounces back strong. He beats Villopoto, Dungey, Alessi, and the rest. Chad Reed, 1 lap to go. Can he do this? Can he get it? And with Dungey being this close and this much lap traffic, I mean, what is even running through their mind right now? I mean, you got to deal with lappers, with pressure, with lines, fatigue.
This is when the intensity is so high because you know what's on the line. And your body's hurting, your hands are hurting, your heart rate and your lungs are just completely maxed out, and you're just letting it all on the line, and you're a little loose right now. Okay, you're not like your, body is a little bit weaker than at the start of the moto, but this is what you train for, is to be able to ride the full 30 minutes plus 2 laps.
Aaron, what do you have on the 22?
A very cute Chad Reed celebrating his 2nd Father's Day with baby Tate. He has got 2 hands with a heart in the middle. I love Dad on the back of his butt patch that he's sporting here around Budds Creek for Father's Day.
That's incredible artwork for a 1-year-old.
Yeah, impressive. Well, you know the guys at his gear company that really helped out. Okay, will Tate get to see his dad, Chad, take the win? Again, I think the lap traffic hurt Dungey more than Reed, because look at Reed has stretched it out a bit again.
But he really has no time to waste unless there was an issue with Dungey. Chad takes a look back, and that is a great opportunity in that 180-degree turn to see just where the competition is. Takes another look back here. You can tell got a little cushion. He's got to feel good about that. But there's still some really technical sections here coming up that Chad's going to have to maneuver through if he's going to take this moto win. See right there, you cannot let up. You got to take it all the way to the checkered flag.
Well, this is shades of our 2nd moto of the opener at Hangtown, when Dungey, with 2 laps to go, put in the charge, got to the rear wheel of Reed, but didn't have enough left after that charge to challenge him to the checkered flag.
And that's kind of been the story of Dungey all year. He's just been a click off from being able to win the motos and win the overall. He's been really close.
Chad Reed looks over his shoulder. He doesn't see any competition, so he looks forward, and all he sees is the checkered flag. Reed is going to win the overall here at Budds Creek.
What an incredible 2nd effort from Chad Reed.
Hey, nice job back for Josh Grant. Give me the keys to the race. And what do you think? Good performance by him. He's in the top 10.
Top 10. He's doing exactly what he needed to do here. And the most important thing was ride every lap.
He did. He got all the laps in. He stayed healthy. Rocky Mountain ATV MC keys to the race, so he followed them, right?
Yep.
All right, so that's good for Josh Grant.
And happy Father's Day.
First Father's Day for him. That's correct. So Grant will take the mantle from Kevin Windham for the Honda team over the next couple of weeks. But another Honda has got the win, and that's Chad Reed. He holds off Ryan Dungey. The final margin of victory, 4 seconds, and Reed gained 3 seconds on Dungey on the last lap alone. So once again, Reed is the strong man down the stretch, and he's got himself his 3rd victory of the year. This July, baseball's biggest stars will gather together in the Arizona desert for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Time for the Lucas Oil race recap from 450 Moto 2 here in Maryland.
And boy, what a race it was. You see Dungey on the inside. Windham is there, and watch as they round turn 1. It's Mike Alessi on the KTM who shifts the gears and ends up with the whole shot.
But Chad Reed would make a move on Ryan Dungey and then make a move on Alessi and would take the early lead.
Question is where is Moto 1 winner Ryan Villopoto as Reed
takes the win, yeah, and we never saw Villopoto challenge like he did in Moto 1. We were really surprised that Villopoto wasn't able to get up there. Reed held off Dungey down the stretch. He's your winner. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates.
It was definitely a bounce back from Moto number 1, but Chad, you came out swinging out there. What is it about this track that you seem to excel at so much? You won here back in 2009 as well.
I mean, I love this track, and you know, like I said to you in the first one, I just had no pace. I just had no rhythm. And I needed to go back to the truck and have a good think about myself. And came back out, got another great start, and actually passed people, and that's a good thing. So, man, huge thanks to all the guys at Bellray, TwoTwo Motorsports, American Honda, Mitch at PC, all the guys at Etney, Skull Candy, FX, and just proud, man. Proud that we haven't lost a second moto this year. And it's not my fitness, man. I gotta hit my marks every moto. Otherwise, these two are gonna take advantage of it.
What do you think that you're doing differently right now from your competitors to keep you on your A game?
I would just say, you know, like putting myself in good positions in the second motos. Those two have got speed, and when they get out front, they're lethal. And just try to put a stop to that. I tried to just maintain a good pace that I felt like I could do, and slow the pace down a little bit so I could find some lines, and then eventually the pace got up a little bit. So pump for an overall today.
Maybe it was that I love Chad, I love Dad butt patch that paid off. Congratulations on a great day. Happy Father's Day.
Here are the results from the second moto here at Budds Creek. Dungey second. Villopoto did hold off Wyndham to take third. And Alessi held on for fifth, so not sure if the bike had problems or what, but he was able to recover and hold on for a top 5. Metcalfe, Weimer, Short, Millsaps, and Grant right out the top 10. Not what Millsaps was looking for today after a podium earlier in the year.
Yeah, but it was really surprising. Villopoto at the end was 45 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah. Hey, this is only the 4th round of the year. We've got lots more racing coming up. We'll show you the Toyota moving forward schedule. We're going to Lakewood, Colorado, outside of Denver next weekend. Speed will have coverage at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. That's their 450 class. Then NBC will have coverage of our next race from Redbud at Buchanan, Michigan. Then it's Millville, Minnesota, and Washougal, Washington with 450 coverage on Speed July 16th and July 23rd as we roll through the summer. Meanwhile, the Reed family's happy. They got Tate here. There's Ellie Reed, mom on the left, and they've got themselves a great trophy to bring home and celebrate Father's Day tomorrow. Half tons ever. Welcome back. Fans were treated to a spectacular race in our second 450 moto. Aaron Bates has our runner-up, Ryan Dungey.
What a ride for Ryan Dungey. And Ryan, you just said you feel a little disappointed. You thought you had the speed today to get this job done. What was it that held you back?
You know, it's nothing, you know. I mean, we work hard. The bike ran pretty good today. First moto, we fought it a little bit. Second moto was a little bit better, and I felt really comfortable out there. Just behind Chad. Chad was putting down good laps, you know, and when a guy puts down good laps and you're right there with him, it's hard to make a pass, and that was tough, you know, some lappers. But, you know, nothing taken from him. Just got to say Happy Father's Day to my father tomorrow. Tomorrow's Father's Day, and to all them fathers out there. And sure you're proud, and thanks for everything to everybody. It's been a long season, but we got a lot left, and just got to keep our head down, man.
Ryan, tell us about the lappers and how much did that impact your ride today?
You know, it's a shame. You know, sometimes lappers get in the way, and whether they know it or not, you know, I don't know. But it's racing. It's part of the game. It's part of the sport, and it's grueling. It's tough. It's a man's sport, but we'll try to be more man and come back ready in Lakewood next weekend.
Great job. Congratulations.
Here are your overall results, and you can see how close Dungey was. He's 1 point behind Reed and Villopoto for the day, so he'll lose 1 point in the overall championship standings for the season. Wyndham 4th overall, Alessi 5th. The rest of these guys just outside of that top 5, you know they want a little more than that. Talking about Metcalfe, Millsaps, Weimer, Short, and Grant. Let's send it back down to Aaron with Ryan Villopoto.
Ryan Villopoto, he won that first moto, but Ryan, it looked as though you had lost a little bit of your rhythm during that second moto. Take us through what happened.
Yeah, you know, just what really wasn't there, and then I got a bad stomach ache. But you know, the guys were riding good today, just in that second moto. Just need to pick some better lines, and you know, just couldn't do without the whole Monster Energy Kawasaki, Dunlop, Thor, Parts Unlimited, Alpha Stars, Oakley, Vans, Maxima, Renthal, Falcon Tires, Volcom, Specialized, just everybody. Thank you.
That's it, the first ever loss of a moto for Ryan Villopoto, and he started racing here in 2006. We'll show you the series point standings now, and Villopoto made up some ground on Reed and lost some ground.
Yeah, but it's more so about how your performance was that day, and you can tell he's pretty disappointed. I'm sure the win streak is not really on his mind. He just realized that that was a really bad moto, and he needs to pick it up.
Hey, Aaron Bates has got one more rider to talk to before he says goodbye to us. Aaron, who do you have?
That's right. It looks like this is going to be the moment of a farewell. Kevin, you put in a great effort out there today. What does it mean to you to go out on such a positive note?
It feels great, you know. I'm hurting right now, bad, but you never forget the cheers of these fans. After I recover from this, I'll still remember that. And I'd like to thank Honda and Geico, MSR, DVS, all the guys for helping me get out here, Shoei. And, you know, it's just incredible to come out here. It gets harder and harder every year, but it seems like the crowd gets louder and louder. And I better quit talking right now because I feel like I'm about to pass out.
Give you a little bit of air. These fans definitely go crazy for you every time you go around, but how much motivation does that give you to finish off your race?
It means everything to me, you know. I wish I could get the results, but when you don't, that's all you got, and it feels good.
You'll be missed. Have a great summer.
Fuel your passion for motorcycle racing with Speed Motorcycle Text Alerts powered by Yamaha. Get the latest moto racing results and breaking news as soon as they become available. Sent right to your phone. Just text Moto to Speed 3 for the alerts now.
Well, Kevin's got 4 children at home to go home to and spend the summertime while we're out here hammering out Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. And temperature's starting to rise. Riders are stepping up, and we're starting to see who is fit.
Man, it's going to be a great, great championship chase. Congratulations to Chad Reed for taking the win today. Ryan Dungey, Ryan Villopoto, they'll be back to fight him at our next round next week in Colorado. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Big thanks to you for watching our show today. And the TwoTwo Motorsports train rolls on. 3 wins in 4 rounds this year. We'll see if we get another one next week.
Through 3 of 12 rounds, the question remains, can anyone stop the Kawasaki's?
Dean Wilson wins. Blake Baggett wins at High Point. Tyler Rattray wins.
Mitch Payton's trio of Pro Circuit riders has set the standard early in the 2011 season. Will the green onslaught continue, or will someone rise up and make a statement at round 4? The 250 class is set to take to the track as the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is set to get underway from Budds Creek.
Welcome to Budds Creek, Maryland for round 4 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship in the 250 class. It's the Budds Creek National. Mechanicsville, Maryland, your host town for this one, but it's right by Budds Creek, and I am right by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig. It's been a wild 250 season so far, but of all the things we've seen happen, it's all happened on green motorcycles. Kawasaki guys out front.
Yeah, they really have dominated this championship, and you know, there's kind of a hierarchy within the team, and all of the riders are feeding off of that, trying to be the top guy on the team, and Mitch Payton is loving it.
Absolutely, and we'll see if anyone can break through. Try to get a little more information on that. Let's send it down to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Aaron Bates, with a Progressive pre-race report.
Both Eli Tomac and Justin Barsha are both young, talented riders, and they ride for the Geico Honda team, and they feel that they are in the best team and the best hands that they could possibly be in to take home a championship. We caught up with these boys earlier to find out what their thoughts are on the team.
I think we have the best bike out there in the lights class, so when you know you have that, you know, that just relieves so much pressure.
Being on a Honda, you know, I've been on one forever, so on the 250, I've been so used to it. I've had many years under my belt on it, and just going in on the track, it's like, I know this bike, I know what it's going to do on and off the track, so that's the biggest thing for me is knowing my bike.
Yeah, I would definitely like to have the middle of my season a lot stronger than last year. You know, in the outdoors, I want to be able to fight the heat a little bit more better. And, you know, I think I will be able to.
Yeah, to run up front in the outdoors, you just got to prepare yourself mentally and physically. And physically, I'm prepared, and mentally, I'm also prepared.
It'd definitely be cool to see Geico, you know, win a lot, you know, before my time's done there. And that's what I'm going to try to do my best at.
I expect out of myself, definitely be on the podium almost every weekend, try to be in the top 5 as much as I can, and fight for that championship.
These guys got some work to do to win that title, though.
Yeah, taking a look at the 17 here, Geico Honda Justin Barsha, been suffering with an illness. Doctors have recommended that he not ride at all. He's taking the week off and only riding on Saturday, and that's a tough thing to do. So Geico's been struggling a little bit this year getting on the top step of the podium, but they definitely have some talented riders that can do it.
let's give you the 411 and show you how we race motocross here in the 250 class. We have 2 motos with 40 riders each. Each moto lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps. Then we combine the scores from both to determine an overall winner. And we'll show you exactly what the track looks like here at Budds Creek with our GoPro on board.
You can make a pass on the rider in front of you.
So that's the track in practice. We have a first moto that's already complete today, and we'll give you the highlights here. Into the first turn, it's one of those Kawasaki's out front, Dean Wilson on the 15.
He's got Tyler Rattray back there. There was a pair of Yamahas in the mix there with Kyle Cunningham there.
Rattray's going to get Cunningham and move into the number 2 spot, and it would be a chase between the 28 and the 15 out front. And watch Darren Durham. He's making moves. He's going to get around Cunningham here for 4th. Meanwhile, Blake Baggett, what happened to him?
Yeah, the question was, where is Blake Baggett after dominating High Point? Makes a mistake, stalls the engine, and then also Durham comes up with a huge mistake.
Yeah, he was running fourth time, yeah. Meanwhile, in front of all that, Dean Wilson gets the win. Rattray kept him honest the whole way, but 1 race done and 1 win for Dean Wilson. Let's see if he can do it and get the overall. Meanwhile, keys to the race, let's look at Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda's Travis Baker, Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Keys to the race for him. What does he got to do, Jeff?
Well, Travis Baker was 11th in the first moto, knocking on the door of a top 10, so you can see what he needs to do. Let's see if he gets the start.
Pair of Kawasaki's in there, and I think it might be Baggett, but he got shoved around the outside, and they're going to lose the lead. Looks like one of the Yamahas up to the number 1 spot. It's Gareth Swanepoel.
No, Audette.
Oh, Gannon Audette on the 533. Good call, Jeff.
Wow.
Under pressure, the rookie from the veteran, Tyler Rattray, and Rattray's going to get him.
Swanepoel is up there right around the top 5, so the Yamaha team with them Cosworth engines found a little spark here because they definitely are starting to pepper the hole shot there.
Now Baggett trying to get around Audette as well. Audette first-year pro, Baggett second-year pro. No, Audette proving stubborn, not letting Baggett by. And Rattray going to try to get away from this battle. You're right, there is another one of those Yamahas right there. Swanepoel in 4th, and Lance Vincent is 5th early. Our first moto winner, Dean Wilson, nowhere to be seen, at least around the top 5.
So great start for Vincent, though.
Oh, Baggett! Over the bars. Wow. And now he cannot get to the motorcycle. Too much traffic. Be like dropping your bike in the middle of the interstate. The guys are coming and they are coming fast. And he's just lucky that no one hit him there. He goes all the way to dead last.
Wow. That is frustrating.
Just about last.
Just when you think that he's got all the momentum, he's going to be the guy to beat, has a so-so first moto, gets a good start, and watch this replay here as the young man, 57, pulls the tear off and watches. He hits the brakes here, hits a soft hole, and just stuffs it. And that's when the foot pegs and the bottom of the chassis underneath of the engine drag in that soil. Stops your momentum quickly.
Wow. In more ways than one, because the way Baggett rode at our last race, some people are starting to think the kid was unbeatable, and then a tough first race today. Exactly. We were speechless after that run.
Yeah, you read my procast on Ally Sports, and I was like, hey, this kid, he's on it. But it has not been his day.
Justin Barsha, that is classic Barsha, the 17. A big block pass on Gareth Swanepoel, so that will move him up to 3rd. Now he's got to get around Audette, who is 2nd. And Barsha, we mentioned at the top of the show, has been diagnosed with mononucleosis. The doctor said you should probably stop riding, but a couple of months ago he had he refuses to not race. He won't let the team park him. And riding this well, maybe he should stay out there.
6th in the first moto, looking to back that up with a better second moto, and he's done that this year at Texas. He looked like he was a little bit off the pace in the first moto, and really got it together and hung tough on one of the toughest tracks of the season.
Now Barsha was almost relieved to find out that he had the illness, if that makes any sense, because nothing is worse than feeling bad and not knowing why. Now he has it figured out. He goes to the inside on Audette. Barsha on a rail to the front, and after some classic Barsha aggressive passes, he throws a classic Barsha scrub over these jump. Barsha is feeling it right now.
Barsha just rides with so much attitude, you know. He's so animated on the bike. He likes to twist the grip off that thing, and
And so far, so good here. See at the top of your screen, we got 26 minutes. When that clock is at 0 and the lead rider has crossed the finish line, they will give them the 2-lap board for 2 more laps. So in AMA Motocross, typically it's about a 35-minute race for the leader, and it's grueling. The track here is really gone away. It's rough, it's nasty, and it's giving these riders all that they can handle mentally and physically.
Let's talk about these riders. Upset special here. The 387, Swanepoel's had a couple of good runs this year, but he's yet to get a podium. His teammate Audette, a rookie, yet to get a podium. He's running up front. Lance Vincent, a replacement rider for the injured Blake Wharton and Will Hahn on Geico Honda. He is up there right now. And a lot of the favorites, like our first moto winner, Dean Wilson, not there. Wilson is 9th. Look at Swanepoel, 387. He is 4th. South African rider has to feel good in this moto because he didn't just get the start, but he is running the pace.
Well, you remember at the opening round, Swanepoel had a top 5 in the second moto, backed it up with a 4th in Moto 1 at Freestone.
There is the 15 of Wilson, so he's finally about to get into the mix. But with Rattray out front, Wilson's going to have to make a lot of moves here to win the overall. We'll worry about that later. Right now, we're worried about the passes, and he's got Nico Izzy on the inside.
That was close.
He made that pass.
He threaded the needle, that's for sure. And Wilson this year has gotten some hole shots, but he's been incredibly inconsistent with those starts. And that's something that he has really been working on in his program, but certainly didn't execute Moto 2 start like he did Moto 1.
Now he's going after Vincent, who's on the 245. You can say Vincent got a shot here with Geico Honda, and he's making the most of it with a good start. Whoa, Nico Izzy came up way short on that tabletop.
And that jump has been there for years, but this year they lengthened it out by about 20 feet. And especially for the 250F bikes here, that makes it tough. Out of that turn, there's some really deep sandy soil. And if you mess up the turn a little bit like Nico did before the obstacle, it's just really tough to get the drive.
Wilson now going after Vincent. That would be 5th if he can get him, with Audette and Swanepoel in front of him. Barsha, Rattray, your leader. So Wilson, like you said, Jeff, inconsistent with the starts. Whole shot in the first race, won it. Bad start here, and he has this work cut out for him if he wants to salvage a win today. Here he goes to the inside, and he's got the spot. Will Vincent fight him? Yes, he will.
Well, Vincent does not have the hot line down through here, so he hit some much deeper ruts, and it stalled him out. They go side by side. Wilson has the inside line.
Boy, but Audette sure gave it everything he had. Feet hanging off the pegs, but Wilson still makes it happen. Now he's going to go to the inside on Audette.
Look at how many riders are freight trained. I mean, we've got back to, I believe, Tomac, maybe even all the way back to 15th, Alex Martin. The riders are basically wheel to wheel.
Wilson clearing that entire step up there as we're headed toward the finish line jump. He's got a pair of Yamaha riders in front of him before he can get to the leaders, Barsha and Rattray. But a lot of racing yet to come here. 23 minutes and 2 laps to go. So Wilson at least has time on his side, but does he have track position that he needs? He is only about 10 seconds back of your leader, Rattray, so not too bad. But Rattray just turned his fastest lap of the race, a 2:07, where Wilson only ran a 2:09.
Well, Rattray's 2:07 is the fastest lap.
Yeah,
the only one in 2:08 is Barsha. Everyone else is 2:09 and above.
Vincent on the inside is going to try to get Wilson back. This kid is not intimidated, is fighting, scratching, clawing, and while Wilson is dealing with Audette, looks like Izzy and Vincent going to try to fight back. What are you hearing of the 245 of Vincent, Aaron?
Well, guys, this is only his 3rd pro race outdoors, and he said he's having an extremely hard time trying to learn the tracks. He says coming in here, it's a lot harder than what he had expected. 30 minutes plus 2 laps, and he's out there racing with the fastest guys on the planet. He's still learning all these different line choices from the rest of the riders.
Well, he just learned one from Izzy, who just snuck to the inside and took that position away from him. At the same time, Wilson duking it out with Audette. There's Vincent on the 245. He's got some pressure from Malcolm Stewart.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's going to get any better for Vincent because there's a freight train of riders. They're lined up wheel to wheel just behind him.
And Barsha not too far back from Rattray. We've got a race in our hands for the lead at Budds Creek, the 17 and the 28. RockyMountainMC.com. Get ready. Half hour away from nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and a South African is leading here in the U.S. But this has become the series that the international riders want to come compete in. Tyler Rattray, this rider right here, won a title over in Europe. Once he accomplished that, he wanted to come here. He has come so close to winning this championship, was second to the Tour last year, leading the points right now, but his lead in this moto is very close over Justin Barsha.
Yeah, that was the World Championship, I might add, and but he understands that in motocross, the best guys in the world are racing here.
Right.
The deepest field, and I don't want to take anything away from the talented riders that are on the GP, but this is where they gravitate to.
Yeah, there's a reason that Rattray moved over here, because he feels he's not complete unless he can check this championship off of his list. He's got the series lead, and he might extend it today, but he's going to have to hold off the flying kid, Justin Barsha. Complete contrast in styles when you talk about Rattray and Barsha.
Yeah, and it's really ironic that at Freestone, Texas, super hot and humid track was just, it was unbelievably rough, so challenging physically. And that's where Barsha notched to second place in the second moto, which typically is the tougher of the motos. Track's gone away, it's hotter, you've already depleted yourself in Moto 1 and qualifying practice. And you know, we heard some of the guys going, I wonder if Barsha actually is sick, because he seems to turn it up when it's the toughest. But he does have that ability to dig deep, and just he's got an incredible amount of determination.
Here's your battle for third. Garrett Swanepoel, another South African, is in that spot. And the Scots-Canadian Californian, Dean Wilson, is in fourth. Wilson has to keep chugging, keep moving, and minimize the damage on points to Rattray.
Well, and we heard the comment from Rattray at Texas that he said it was hot. Not, you know, Africa hot, which is you know, evidently the next level.
Yeah, I didn't know there was one.
So it's a difficult day here today, but certainly not Africa hot. So for the South Africans, this could just be, you know, nice spring day.
Two of them in the top three. That's impressive. Malcolm Stewart up to sixth behind Nico Izzy. Started the year off with blazing speed, but now learning the consistency game. Had an 11th and a 10th in his motos last week in Pennsylvania, and here he is in the number 6 spot in this. So Malcolm learning very quickly. It's good to see the Stewart families here cheering him on and supporting him, just like they did with his older brother James. Nice job. And Malcolm's learning. I mean, he's really only a rookie, so that's only 4 pro races for him at this level. Then you see the 533 of Audette, another rookie, and now Darren Durham, who could have been a hero in the first moto, is trying to get on the podium, was in fourth, going for third, crashed, broke his bike. He's back here in Moto 2, makes a pass on Audette. So now 7th place for Darren Durham.
Well, Audette's a rookie here and getting his feet wet, understanding that, hey, I got the start there, and now he's going, ooh, okay. Pace here is a little bit higher than what I was hoping it would be. Hasn't been able to hang on to the lead or even to stay inside of the top 10, but he is gaining experience.
Wilson leaning on Swanepoel and gets the 3rd place position. So persistence paying off. The problem is they are 13 seconds behind the leader, Rattray. So Wilson is going to have to hope that Rattray and Barsha maybe slow each other down a little bit, battling for the lead, and it just might happen. Barsha just turned in the fastest lap that anyone has turned in this moto. So Barsha in 2nd is going after your leader Rattray, as Wilson here in 3rd hopes those two slow each other up a little bit and allow him to get in the mix.
Wilson turned a 2:08 last time around, and Rattray and Barsha were right at a 2:06.4. So let's see if a clear track here for Dean Wilson will allow him to draw some good lines on the track, start to smooth out, and drop that lap time down you know, low enough to catch the leader.
And incidentally, Blake Baggett, the rider who was so spectacular in a couple of rounds with wins this year and then crashed on lap 1, has gone from 39th to 18th so far at the halfway mark. We'll keep our tabs on him as well. And we'll also keep our eyes on Wilson, Barsha, and Rattray. This Friday, Orange County, California is your home to the greatest car collector event in the world, Barrett-Jackson, and you can only see it on Speed. The finest, rarest, most desirable cars on the planet, all in one place and all up for grabs. Watch the auction live on Speed, Friday at 5 Eastern only on Speed. Checking out some monster truck action here. Spider-Man and Gravedigger were on hand to entertain the masses at Budds Creek at intermission. Also, the owner of this track, Jonathan Beasley, got married at intermission. That's how busy a man this guy is. He could not find time to get the wedding in, so he did it during the race.
And they performed the ceremony right here on top of Henry Hill, right at the peak of that jump, right where Rattray comes over with the lead.
Barcia is still there, closing in again on Rattray. Every time Rattray, we think, has maybe shaken the 17, kid comes back, and Rattray now looking over his shoulder.
Barcia just relentless at this point, and he looks great. I mean, this is his form. It's always a little loose, always a little wild. Rattray is so strategic. He's very calm on the bike. Doesn't seem to use a lot of energy, but right now, Justin Barcia, 17 on Geico Honda. He's laying it down, and let's see the lap time. Last time around, Rattray was faster. This time around, Rattray's almost a 2:08, and Barcia's a 2:07.4, so about half a second. Barcia closed up.
Talked to the Geico team this week when they got the news that Barcia had mono, because they had some blood work done on Monday after our last race. And some of them thought Barcia might actually do better this weekend because he was so frustrated, not knowing what was wrong with him, didn't know why I was fading in the motos, that now that he's at least gotten an answer, kind of a weight off of his shoulders. And that theory seems to be working because he's riding really well.
He has got a little hop right there coming down the hill, and it's interesting because Barcia has the ability to close up on the back of Rattray, but will the lines allow him, will his lines allow him to actually make a pass and not just close up and take all that roost on?
Aaron is down trackside. What are you hearing on the 17?
There's a little bit of controversy this morning when I walked over to the pro circuit pits. When I was explaining to them about Barcia, they ended up saying that they don't believe that it is possibly true that Justin Barcia could actually have mono because he seems to be faster and faster throughout the day, and he also got the fastest time during practice this afternoon. And they went back to the same theory at Supercross when he rode with a broken wrist the entire season long and ended up taking home the championship. But blood work definitely doesn't lie.
Yeah, that's correct there. When the Geico guys said that he had mono, they said, and we know no one's going to believe us. Because when you're riding this well, it is hard to believe that this guy's supposedly sick.
Well, I mean, that could be part of his strategy, but I spoke to Justin this week. He was pretty bummed about it. He just said, look, if I feel like I can ride on race day, then I will. And if I feel good enough, then I'm going to go for it. Now, if he had woke up this morning and just wasn't feeling it, didn't recover from last week, and went through practice, and, you know, he just didn't feel right. If his body didn't have any energy, if he didn't have any jump in his step, then he would probably be off the bike.
There's Schneike, the mechanic for Barcia, cheering his guy on. Going a little bit faster than the leader again. Getting a little bit closer, but as you alluded to, catching Rattray and passing him are two different things, but look at Barcia getting aggressive.
The wild child is back right here. He's feeling the flow here, and he's putting the pressure on Tyler Rattray. I'm sure Rattray knows that he will have to win this moto if Wilson stays in third.
And Wilson not able to close on these two. They were just about a second quicker per lap than Wilson. So, yeah, if Wilson has any shot at the overall, he's going to need Barcia to mix it up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, Rattray. Yeah, Rattray was second, first moto. It's going to get tough here.
Right. And Barcia, I thought he made a little mistake through there. Was he just trying to pull a tear off? Went slow in the entry to that one corner, Jeff. Just pulling a tear off, I suppose.
That's
still
part of
seems
it
strong.
when you ride like this.
Unbelievable. And now going to the outside, working off Rattray. Wait, now we hear that Aaron, as a guest star, is going to give us a few pointers. Aaron?
I guess Chad Reed just can't get enough. Chad, you haven't even taken off your gear from your victory. You're standing here on the sidelines watching this last moto. What's your take on what you're witnessing happen right now?
I think an old dog can always learn new tricks, so I love watching the kids. And normally they're first, so we never ever get to see them, but the last couple of years they've flipped the motos. We go first, they go second, so it's kind of nice to sit around and watch these guys and watch the new talent. And man, they got some creative lines, and you can always learn something, you know. And root on some of the PC guys and the Factory Connection Honda guys, so they're all my friends.
Are you scouting a rider for the TwoTwo team next year?
always. You never know. As a team owner, you got to watch the kids and see what's up, you know. And all these kids will be moving up one day. I don't know if I want a lights guy, though. Man, I've seen the effort that goes on at Mitch Payton's shop, and I'm not ready for that yet.
A lot of work. Thanks, Chad.
You can tell Chad Reed won the race because he's just hanging out, soaking it up. And speaking of soaking it up, Justin Barcia overjumped that downhill big time, and he soaked up a big impact.
Well, and he didn't lose any time right there, but certainly had shades of the Doug Henry jump, I can tell you that. How about Rattray, though? I mean, we keep talking about Barcia, wild child, doing his thing, really animated on the bike, using a lot of energy. But, hey, Rattray is solid. He is...
That is a specialty of Tyler Rattray. Yeah, he can handle the pressure, bring it as long as you want. He is not going to crack. Rattray continues to lead them around. Barcia still chasing. As Tyler Rattray continues to hold off Justin Barcia, the two have pushed each other faster and faster. It is now an 18-second gap between first and second, and then third. Justin Barcia airing it out around the outside.
And it's interesting, Jason, the pace of this race, this battle here for first and second, is actually dictated by the rider from behind. If, you know, Rattray is going to ride and do whatever it takes to win the moto, to keep up front. If Barcia backed off, Rattray would knock it, you know, back it down just a click. But Barcia, as you can see, is not backing off one bit. And so he's pushing Rattray into faster lap times. They were at 2:07s. And Wilson is way 2:09.
It has to be so difficult, Jeff. Talk about what Rattray is dealing with right now, trying to hit his marks while a rider is all over.
This is the last lap when we were with Reed. Watch Barcia. He knows he came over Henry Hill with too much speed, and he jumped about 3/4 of the way to the turn. And that, you can see right there, he had a little pause once he got in that outside rut, like, whoo.
All right, so Barcia able to escape there. Let's show the next big lead.
See Rattray right here, doubles to the inside, and watch Barcia coming through on the triple up here to the outside. You carry a little more momentum around the outside there, but man, Barcia's been able to close up, but just really not do anything with it. And kudos to Rattray. He's put on a solid ride, and that's a championship type performance.
Oh yeah, every point is going to loom large in this class, and Rattray maximizing every opportunity he has gotten this year. When he hasn't been the fastest guy, that's one thing, but when he's been fast enough, he's found a way to get the wins.
And you can see across the top of your screen the running order. Rattray's teammate, Dean Wilson, up to third, and Baggett now, after that crash on the first lap, is up to 12th.
That could loom large in points as well as Baggett tries to salvage something after that early crash. Looks like Rattray has extended it just a bit over Barcia for the moment. Gaps up to about 1.5 seconds now. Go back to third place Wilson. It's 21 seconds between Wilson and your leader Rattray. So not able to run them down. And Jeff, I'm going to ask you, he couldn't see them by the time he got to third. How big of a difference is that, not being able to see the riders you're trying to catch?
Yeah, when you can see the riders in front of you, and it's like that carrot dangling, and you're just constantly going after it. Now, Wilson just turned to 2:10, Rattray at 2:07. That puts Wilson about 20 seconds behind the leader now. So I know Dean a little bit. Like I said, I spoke with him. He's going to be a little frustrated with this moto after winning Moto 1. Just not getting the start that he needed to hang with the leaders.
Well, great point. That has been his frustration all year, inconsistent with the starts. So he's going to probably, I guess, just be even more frustrated. It's the same story for him.
But that also fuels you. And we talk about it all along. So many,
Cole Seeley, Lucas Oil Troy Lee rider, had a tough day today after a great run last week at High Point. That's how quickly things can change in motocross. One little mistake, and you're out. All right, we'll be back after this. Barcia chasing down Rattray. Cycle insurance. Is that house is white? So I would assume that is the White House.
Why is everybody standing at the fence looking at it? I mean, it's impressive. Hey, I've actually been inside it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're Jeff Emick. pretty much seen and done it all.
This is true, man. I tell you who's doing it all here today is Tyler Rattray. What a solid, impressive ride here, leading the second moto. Last lap was a 2:06. His fastest lap just turned to 2:08. Starting to stretch it out just a little bit over Justin Barcia. And, of course, he's got 23 seconds over his teammate Dean Wilson.
So it looks like down the stretch, Rattray may stretch it out on Barcia, but is the Pro Circuit team still going to ask for a copy of the blood work results that Barcia had? Because for 27 minutes or so, he had all the speed and the endurance you could ask for. Oh, Blake Baggett, we found him, and he is trying to get inside the top 10. He's up to 8th. That is impressive. That means he was, let's see, 39th, I think, after the crash. There was one rider behind him. So, past over 30 riders. This is impressive.
Going past Zimmer there, who is 28. So, Zimmer getting lapped. This makes for some long days right here for Baggett when you're back in the pack and you're making mistakes. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, this is Moto 1, Jeff. Too much momentum.
Overjumps the triple, cross ruts, keeps it on 2 wheels, but stalls the engine. Would lose 1 position. And watch this. First lap of second moto. Buries the foot pegs in the chassis into that bump there. And as you can see, as Martin gets by and Tomac and 39 other riders, that day did not start out, or the second moto did not start out as he had planned. Certainly not how I had predicted the day to go for Blake Baggett.
Yeah, well, the speed that he's had in the races this year, you didn't expect him to come out here and get 2 tough moto finishes outside of the top 5. But the points he salvaged here can make all the difference. In fact, he just made another move. He just got Darren Durham for the number 7 spot. So the 57 goes by the 37. That would be 1 more championship point for Baggett.
See Durham right there looks a little bit fatigued at this point. Pretty solid rides to be inside the top 10. Showed us a lot of potential here today.
Yeah, was running 4th late in the first moto was Durham, then had a big crash. So he, much like Baggett, the speed will not be reflected in their results at the end of the day. But if you're Durham, you're just trying to make an impression. So he's definitely done that. If you're Baggett, you want to score points and get the series lead back. That did not happen. He's going to lose a lot of ground to Rattray and Wilson, the 2 riders that were in front of him in the series coming into today's racing. All right, so Baggett going to try to make a late run for the top 5. Late in the race, he has been very, very strong, but you can't do it from 39th. Malcolm Stewart in the top 5, Swanepoel as well. Saturday, the Rolex Sports Car Series is revving up for a fight on a new battlefield. For the first time in a decade, Grand Am returns to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and this legendary track promises road racing at its best. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series Saturday live, 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Some definite speed being shown by the 28 of Tyler Rattray, laying down some fast laps late in this moto to get away from his pursuers, Jeff.
Yeah, as the rest of the field was up around a 2:11, 2:12 or higher. 2 laps ago, Rattray still turned to 2:08. Now he's pulled 8 seconds out on Justin Barcia, who sets in second. And last lap around backed it down to a pace of about 2:11.5. So 8-second cushion here for Rattray. Second in the first moto. Really just had Dean Wilson to worry about. Dean didn't get the start that he needed. Has worked his way up to 3rd. But clear sailing here with about a lap and a half to go for the South African.
And late in the race, Eli Tomac just made a move on Malcolm Stewart. That'll move him into the top 5. Swanepoel still 4th. Wilson and Barcia, of course, 3rd and 2nd. With Rattray in the lead. This will be the first Father's Day for Tyler Rattray, who, if you folks remember, last year he won the race at Southwick, Massachusetts, the day his child was born. Said he had to go racing, so he stuck it out. That's his job. Get the paychecks. Did it. Got the big win bonus there. So here we are now, Father's Day weekend, and he's got a win. That's Lou Magar, the mechanic, and the Lou Magar family has followed Rattray over from Europe to the U.S. That's Wayne there. And all right, latter stage of this race, 1 lap to go, and Tyler Rattray, I'd say this series could be boiling down to this. You know what Rattray is going to give you every week, Jeff. Solid performances. The question is, can the kids, Wilson, Baggett, can their speed overcome his consistency. We've seen what Baggett can do when things go right, but they don't always go right. For Rattray, it's pretty much even across the board.
Yeah, and leading into this race, the thing that I really felt that Rattray needed to do was to match the pace, the fast lap times of the leaders. He was close the first moto. Wilson really had just a spectacular ride. But now, when the track is the toughest, he's outlasted everybody physically, and speed-wise, nobody could catch him. Barsha laid down the best laps that he could and could not do anything with all that speed, as Rattray just matched it lap for lap. You want to go to a 209, we'll do a 209. You want to do a 208, we can do that. Oh, how about a 207? Let's do one of those. Okay. Whatever he dished out, Rattray had an answer, and now he has the luxury of cruising around, waving to the fans here, getting to let his heart rate come down a little bit here on the final lap, and can ride, well, zigzag your way through all these bumps here. And I can tell you, this has been a great day of racing here at Budds Creek. I've been really impressed with the track. Kind of one of those tracks that I wish I had the opportunity to be out there racing again. And a spectacular day here for Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki once again.
Similar story in both of our races today. Earlier we showed you our 450 class, and Chad Reed was under intense pressure from Ryan Dungey. He could have let Dungey by. He could have wilted. Reed never backed down, and then late in the race, he got some breathing room and was able to relax. Same thing with Rattray here. These guys really toughed it out.
Yeah, and it's really interesting there. We had Chad Reed, the Australian, Tyler Rattray, South African here. The journey that they have been on in their motocross career. Yeah, baby. Going through the World Championship scene to get here, and now standing atop AMA Motocross, most prestigious motocross title in the world. Pretty cool feeling.
Tyler Rattray came into this race with the series lead, and he will extend it with a big win here at Budds Creek. So Tyler Rattray's got it. We're waiting on Barsha, see if he can hang on to the #2 position, and there it is. So the 17 at least splits the Kawasaki guys. That's as close to a win as anyone else has gotten off the Kawasaki this year.
And that is a great ride. What an effort for Justin Barsha, and this is third place.
Big gap over him.
They were a good 30 seconds out on Wilson.
And look, he still has Swanepoel all over him down the stretch. Wilson hangs on, and Gareth Swanepoel kept Wilson honest all the way down to the last lap. The 387 will finish 4th, and Eli Tomac 5th was right there. So that was a great duel down to the wire, 3rd, 4th, 5th. But they never got to see the 28 of Tyler Rattray. And I have to wonder, all the speed that Blake Baggett showed last week when he did take it to Rattray in both motos, do you think Rattray said, all right, you can get me on your good days, but I'll be there every week? Do you think that runs through Rattray's mind?
He definitely is the benchmark for this season.
All right.
Everyone else has been up and down the leaderboard. Rattray has been consistent all the way through.
And that's why he has the red plate. But don't think that Wilson won't be back to try to finally get an overall win at our next race, which will be a week from now, a mile high in Colorado. But in the altitude, well, Rattray might be even harder to beat. Yeah, he's fired up. He's got 2 wins in 4 races this year. Talk to him. Stay with us.
Kentucky's Good Time Sales Event.
Every thrilling moment of the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Give you an idea of exactly how this race broke down here. Blake Baggett over the bars on the first lap. He was trying to grab the lead. Not going to happen. He's back to 39, would come back all the way to 7. But leading was Tyler Rattray. Look at Dean Wilson trying to make passes.
Around the outside of Swanepoel, who has a great day, 9-4 on the day.
But Wilson would make that move, but it would be too little, too late. The bad start held him back. Tyler Rattray holds off Justin Barsha. Wilson takes 3rd. Tyler Rattray is going to be your overall winner here at Budds Creek. He's down to the podium. Let's go down to Aaron.
Solid ride for Tyler Rattray today. Tyler, as soon as you just spoke to me, you had said, I feel better now after the second moto than I did that first moto. Is that a testament to your fitness?
Yeah, definitely. You know, working with Alden and Ryan and them, it's really lifted my level this year, I feel. And yeah, definitely felt good after that second moto, you know, especially to get the win. And got a good start, got into the lead early. And yeah, I had Justin behind me the whole way. And I knew I was riding a good pace, good lap times. And just focusing on my lap time and just trying to ride smooth. I mean, the track was really tricky and could really take it out on you. So just want to thank all the guys from Monster Kawasaki, passing them in the Thor, Eldon, my wife, my baby, my mum, and Wayne.
Congratulations on extending your lead to 4 points.
Here are your results from the race you just watched. Swanepoel, as we mentioned, and Tomac got close there at the end, 4th and 5th. Stewart, I think that's a career best there, 6th for the rookie.
Great ride.
Blake Baggett from back in the pack, 7th. Durham, Tickle, and Davalos hold on for a top 10. Tickle was 3rd in the first race today. Could not quite back it up the way he wanted in Moto 2. Let's give you the progressive whole shot replay and show you how the start of this thing turned out, and that loomed large for the finish as far as the results go, Jeff.
Well, it played a big part, and you notice that everyone's drag racing down here and through the first turn.
Yeah, you didn't see Wilson anywhere near the front of the pack like you did in the first race, and that made a huge difference. Meanwhile, Rattray was able to control that thing and take it from there, win the race. Show you the upcoming events here in this tour with our Toyota moving forward schedule. We'll be a mile high in Lakewood, Colorado at our next event. That's going to really be tough on these 250 bikes. They're lacking for horsepower as it is. Then you take them up in the elevation, and the deficit is even larger. Then we go to Redbud on July 4th weekend. Millville, Minnesota, the sand track in the hills, and then the picturesque Pacific Northwest Raceway, Washougal, Washington. All the 250 class coverage, of course, on Speed.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss that race from Redbud, Michigan. See if they can get LaRocco's leap on the 250F, 120 feet.
You could do it on a 450. I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Rattray celebrating a win, and we'll talk to more riders on the podium in just a moment. Stay with us. In Washington, D.C. Can't urge you enough to come and make a big weekend trip out of this event next year. You can watch a race on Saturday and then check out D.C. on Sunday. Welcome back. Maybe these fans are headed to Washington, D.C. right now. They got to watch some great American motocross racing. Here are the results of your 250 class. Tyler Rattray takes the overall win with 2-1 scores. He just edges Wilson's 1-3. Barsha is going to put it up on the podium in front of his teammate Tomac. Tickle gets bumped down to 5th at the end of the day. Garrett Swanepoel got to feel good about that. A pair of 7s is not what Blake Baggett wanted, though, that's for sure. Let's go down to Aaron on the podium with your runner-up.
Dean Wilson just said he's a little bit frustrated at how he makes it a little tough on himself. Bad start for you this time, and then a mistake right out the first lap. Dean, what do you do to turn it around?
I just need to get start like I did the first moto, and you know, I'll be fine. You know, but it just kind of was a shame. I just kind of didn't really ride well that moto, and you know, I was just slow coming through the pack, and then once we got in the third, the first top 2 were gone. So kind of like, I don't know, I just was not very happy with my performance, and but you know, I just couldn't do it without everybody that's helped me so far. Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, Volcom Bands. My mechanic Paul has done a great job. My mom and dad watching at home. Sam for helping me out, and everybody else. Thank you.
Show you the point standings here. Rattray goes from a 2-point lead to a 4-point lead. The bigger difference is Baggett, who is down, I think, just 11 coming in, and now it's a much, much larger gap. Let's send it down to Aaron on the podium. Aaron?
Hard to believe, but he's plagued with mono. Justin, are you surprised by your performance?
Yeah, very surprised. I came here just wanting the race. That's what I do for a living, so, you know, it was very tough out there. Track was brutal, chasing those guys as hard as I could, so it was a fun day for sure.
Barsha can barely even get a smile out, although still some people are going to be wondering if he really is sick after that performance, but yeah, I don't see why you would lie about that.
Yeah, that was a fantastic effort.
Fuel your passion for motorcycle racing with Speed.com. Get expert analysis, the latest stats, results, and all the news posted as soon as they become available. Get more at Speed.com in the moto racing section.
Well, I would like to thank Mother Nature for not joining us this week like last week. It was a fantastic day of racing.
Well, it's Father's Day weekend, so Mother Nature didn't have a place here. Well, digging down deep, Tyler Rattray, and that was the theme coming into the year. We know the kids will be fast, but we know that Rattray will be consistent, and that's what paid off today, and he's starting to edge away just ever so slightly in the series standings, but it's early. Spectacular, as always, the 250 class. Thanks for watching. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Congratulations to your Butts Creek winner, Tyler Rattray.